Hello, and welcome to Sunday at the circus. Oh, that computer doesn't have a touch screen. Just trying to make sure we're live on the Rumbles because holy moly, they need to fix something. 2 weeks in a row. It's taken me 8 tries to get the stream up and rolling up there.
Let me see if
which
this
is
does. Oh, there we are.
Fanny. All right, but Loki knows what time it is. Hello, Catbutt.
Hey,
Yes!
Alibaba.
Hello, welcome. Oh, I don't have the Loki. You're all right. I eventually will get the tab pulled up. I'm getting. All we have is Catbutt in the screen right now.
Alibaba, I wish you were. If you have Rumble, you should go to my Rumble channel because I posted 2 new videos. One is an hour-long video where they show the entire process of making a sewing machine. I can't say it. Is it Clydebank, Scotland, or Ciderbank, Scotland? I can't pronounce it. I'm messing up names early, but it's amazing to watch.
Dude, that'll be fun to check in later. Yes, that is Loki's big Fanny. But they went to the vet today and this week, and have clean bills of health, which is good.
Yay.
This cat is 12 pounds and some change, and his sister's 9.
That's healthy.
I know. They said when I picked him up that they were going to be little, but 12 pounds is not little. I mean, is it average size? Not like my big boy Merlin, who at his biggest was 18 pounds of chunko cat, but this is what we got. And
I owned a Chihuahua that was 16 pounds a long time ago.
Holy.
So that cat weighed more than a dog.
Yes, and we are live on the Rumbles. Welcome, everybody. I hope everybody has something in their YouTube is glitching. I guess Rumble too. Yeah, everything. Well, I'm sorry, you guys, my friends up in Canada with that stupid Bill C-11 passing. Stay safe up in Canada and make sure you have a VPN so you can actually get non-corporatized media. First on my list is to continue to work on this quilted house coat, and I decided to work smarter and not harder, and I cut out the pieces for the bodice and the sleeve so that I can sew the little squares, the quilt top, onto the base rather than sewing all the pieces together and then cutting it into the shape. I was like, why work harder? Do it this way. So that's what is first up on my docket. Plus I have a whole bunch of the lining pieces cut that need to be stitched together, and then we'll see what's next in my pile of unfinished shames. Okay, I can't read the chat.
You can actually, let's see. I had a cat that was 25 pounds. He loved food.
Yes, fair.
That is a big Chihuahua. We got lied to, and the person who gave us the dog, and they said it was a min pin, but it was half min pin, half Chihuahua. And I don't believe in much. I don't believe in much, but that dog was evil. I think YouTube glitched due to seal.
Probably because I'm definitely not Canadian content, and I have no idea how they're going to do that. I keep hearing like Runkle of the Bailey and the Canadian lawyers being like, are we going to have to set up like a pass-through entity? Like it.
I'm so in outer space. That makes a lot of sense because a few things that I've been watching have suddenly disappeared.
Yeah, and then again, they're kind of doing like what we're going to have with the Restrict Act and we're not even going to have the legislative body make the decisions. Like the Restrict Act in this country is going to be, what is it? The Department of Commerce is going to be saying what you can do and not do, and not even the legislative branch. Like, and what you guys have got the CTRC that's going to be making these arbitrary decisions. Like, no, No.
Oops. So
Oh,
basically, that was me.
I figured as much. Nobody else is here, and I know it's not me.
I am Ernie iPhone over here.
That's
You
okay.
want to talk about being spied on? Every time you hear a notification, my phone's telling me, "We're watching you. We are watching you."
Yeah, that's why I refuse to get a ring. Well, my house is too electrically incompetent to be able to get a Ring doorbell, but I just don't want to get. I know where I'm being spied on, and I don't want more opportunities, which is why I don't think, as much as I would love a smartwatch to like check my blood pressure and do all these things, I don't want some third party um cataloging all my data like that.
Hey, Liz. The okay, so the Ring it's USB powered, and it has a
Okay.
really big battery. But like I said, when you get a Ring, you sign a contract basically saying that they have the right to your information just as much as you do.
Yeah, that I'm not okay with that.
And they go under the guise of, we want to use this in our commercial. That was their justification, because a lot of Ring users were like, maybe I don't want to share my intimate moments with you. Like why do you
Right?
care?
What happened with Crowder, and like that whole stitch is a
Exactly.
mess. But even how, what is it in LA County that they were just giving them away, the police department was. So not only do you not have access to your data, but now the police can just be like, oh, you already gave us consent. What do we need a search warrant for? Like, I'm not okay with this.
And that's the only thing that saves us around here, is that the cops are like vampires. They cannot cross our threshold unless invited. That's the only thing that
Right.
saves us in LA County. Shout out to all my book readers from
What?
the 80s.
Right. Canadian recorders are CTRC regulated, so Canadian made is easy to find out with the data embedded in the uploads. Oh, I worry about you. I worry about all of us right now because that stupid bill in Ireland that just got passed.
What passed in
All of
Ireland?
the they have their own version that just went through last week, 2 weeks ago. That, oh, I'm not going to be able to explain it well. I think Count Dankula has got
Let
a
me get
pretty
my
good
iPhone.
video about it.
They're going nuts right now because of the coronation. And I know I'm a bit of an Anglophile. I don't talk about it as much as I used to, but your freedom is gone when you're protesting 5 miles away and you get arrested.
Right. Oh, that person. Or what did they need to send in the bomb squad to get rid of a handful of shotgun shells? Like, I think the bomb squad was overkill.
And they arrested a woman who worked for the Metropolitan Police who was handing out rape whistles. They arrested her because rape whistles were considered to be on the list of deterrence, and she worked for the police.
Oh, God.
That's
Oh, my
how
goodness.
crazy they are.
Was it really true, or was this a bad meme that went around that somebody who was lawn mowing at Buckingham Palace mowed a giant penis into the lawn?
You know what? I don't know if that's fake news or not, but I hope they did, because that's very Roman. That's
It
very
was
Roman.
really funny. It made me laugh. I got it. That was one of the few things that gave me a chuckle this week because there was not a lot to laugh about.
No, it's been
Just
a
a lot
crazy
of,
week. That's why,
yes.
like, the entire time when you were talking, in my head, I'm like, I'm so glad I've spent the past couple of years collecting every VHS and DVD I can get my hands on, because I'm going to go to my storage and get my 3 tiers of old DVDs and VHS. I am so done and tuned out with everything that's going on. I'm over it.
I tried to become the production for ISMACS magazine. I couldn't be allowed. The UK pictures used to them not being Canadian for Canadian content judgmental. That is, I something is happening. The corporate government overlords, something is brewing that I don't. I don't know what it is, so I don't like it. And B, with all, it just feels like something not right is going on that we don't know about.
I think it's never as deep and dark as we think it is. I think the corporate powers are flexing their muscle, and they're saying like, "I'm going to show you who's in control," and they're literally doing it in every country that they can.
Something, yeah. I just stay safe at
Because
work.
even where I'm from, like the more money you have and your address will let you get away with things.
Yeah.
I have been pulled over and cops are like, "Oh, what are you doing around here? You're in a good neighborhood. Have a good day," and they let me go.
I feel like I live here. Thanks.
Well, like they'll pull me over somewhere in LA and they're like, "Oh,
Right.
you're not one of them. You live in my neighborhood."
Yes, thanks for noticing.
Yeah. During 2020, there were riots everywhere, but our cops were losing their brains. They did not understand that a curfew didn't mean that you didn't have to beat people up.
Right.
And this one lady was like, "Don't come to my town because everyone has guns here." She basically invited, they caught what they called Antifa, which they were Antifa people. They rented out a Airbnb in one of the richest neighborhoods in my town and wondered why they stuck out wearing rags around their necks and, crappy denim. And when the cops went in the house, there was over 300 of them. And they were gonna like, rain terror on our town. I never thought that stuff was real until I saw it with my own two eyes.
Yeah, I think that. Oh, what was I watching? I've been watching a lot of future conflict. It's kind of depressing, but I default to people who know things when I don't know things. So, financial and military things, I know nothing. So I've been searching reasonable folks. Oh, that was not the way to speak about
really quick disclaimer. I don't want people to think I'm pro police. I'm not. I'm just pro
right.
common
We
sense.
haven't done. Okay, that's a good reminder. There's no medical, legal, financial,
Spiritual.
crypto, election fortification, spiritual. You do what you want. We are here to sow, and for us to complain.
Exactly.
Mostly complain today because all I've got is crappy news on my list. Oh, I should not lose that corset piece. And to have fun. This is the respite before the Monday storm, so we're here for the fun of sewing. And
I'm thinking about making I'm gonna make an ugly green coat. So I have a story. I was gonna wait for a little bit later, but this one involves age and weird respect that even I didn't understand. There is a bunch of biker events this weekend. And I didn't know because I'm out of the loop. I literally sit at home and watch old British shows. I'm too old for drama. I'm gonna say this nicely. The television shows kind of ruin the biker world because everybody who has 40 grand goes out and buys a Harley now. And they're not cheap. They're not cheap.
No, especially when you buy it and then spend most of the time paying for it to be in the shop to get fixed.
Well, the Japanese took over Harley, so the new ones run.
Okay, oh, that's good. So it's just the old ones.
The old ones are terrible. But long story short, I was at a thrift store. I actually took the picture when I was in the group. I put the picture in the group chat. When I walked out, 20 cones of thread. Oh wow.
for $7 American. Oh my god.
I never
24.
get I never get those deals anymore. I used to.
No, I'm using the cones that were my grandma's, so who knows how old they are. But when you have this much thread, you might as well use it because it's what I've got. And I figure as long as I pair the age of my thread to the age of my machine, the motor won't outlast it. And since this motor is my arm, we don't drive very fast.
I walked out in the midst of probably 100 bikers from the same biker gang, okay? Long story short, these young men were so respectful to me. I thought it was weird.
Yeah, there's something wrong when people being nice and civil were like, am I okay? Am I safe? Is there something going on here? Like that's
I was like, am I radioactive? Is there like because LA is the weirdest place on earth. You could go from being in the safest situation to about to find out if the maker is real or not. Real quick. Really quick. But it was really strange to me. And I know these guys have rules and everything, but I'm looked at as an elder. And I don't look at myself like that. That's my whole point of telling this story, is that they were like, "Oh, sewing is been around for 20 something years. Sewing's old," and I'm like, "Excuse me."
don't curse at me like that.
I prefer aged human.
Right.
And you're right, Alibaba. They did buy electric. Do you know what's so funny? When all of that came out about the electric Harley, all the old schoolers were like, I will never ride. This is an abomination. Harley doesn't exist anymore. All the people I know said that went out and bought a brand new Harley.
I mean,
because they run well now. They're better built. Personally, I know because my pops is dead. I can say this. I would prefer an Indian.
I know. I just it's a. I mean, that brand, if they were still in existence, would have to rename themselves. But I'm looking forward to you. Oh, you're welcome. Yes, I am still on Instagram and I am on the Rumbles. What have I been doing? Well, let's see here. I'll do a quick detour. I've been making headway on my crocheted underskirt that is from a. Where's the pattern from? I can't remember. It's in the archive.org free patterns. I'm probably going to do some modifications so that it's like almost to knee length. And if I get bored from all of this sewing, let me see here. In this box, that microphone, don't hide it, I have this crappy piece of fabric, and I don't know, a gajillion different crocheted flowers that I've been working on for some of them about 20 years, that I thought, instead of making a wall hanging, why don't I make a beautiful flowered cloak? So I've got flowers to sew on fabric to make a cloak filled with flowers.
That's awesome. And Alibaba, you and I are very much alike. I would love a bike with a sidecar.
I've never ridden one, but a sidecar sounds, I could do that.
They're scary. I rode one as a kid. They're like, well, see, I have images in my head as a kid and it traumatized me. So I'll have that image in my head.
Right, yeah.
Sidecar, do you know what it is? Is Harley in the 1970s, what's that movie, Easy Rider?
Uh-huh.
That's what created the phenomenon that we have today.
Okay.
And it kind of spilled off into the biker culture, and that was the birth of like the Hollister, Hell's Angels, biker culture. Speech therapy works, kids. Just open your
It
mouth and
does.
speak.
Right? Just don't use me in his example of poor diction.
My mask slips every once in a while. I used to have a heavy lisp as a kid. I'd run my words together.
It happens.
It has been a crazy week. It has.
Shoot, what's happening in Texas? I mean, what they had the incident at the mall yesterday, and then the person who must have money, because even if it was a used Land Rover, that shit's still expensive, mowing down the people at the bus stop. I could have lived without seeing some of the pictures of the little kid with parts that were supposed to be in your cranium on the sidewalk. I could have done without that on Twitter today, but
see, this is why I've been taking a break. I cleaned up my closet. I found another Barack Obama shirt I forgot I had.
Well, that may or may not be for better or worse.
I have quite a in LA. I got a Mitt Romney T-shirt for free. I have my Sarah Palin, the Palin McCain shirt. I have about 7 or 8 Barack Obama shirts. I have 2 Trump shirts because I walk up to the table and I'm like, "Can I have that shirt?" And they're like, "Yes, you can."
Try the Indian without the sidecar. They all have a suicide shift reaching across this 2 shift. I don't know what that means, but that sounds funny.
It's crazy. Texas has lost its mind. And then one of the reasons I completely tuned out yesterday is because I'm addicted to being angry and letting the internet make me angry. And so I subscribed to Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene. Did I finally say her name right?
MTG, yes, you did. Congrats. I know. I think this is the first time I listened but didn't have to correct you.
Ever. But I think it was one of the two basically said that, like, the shooting was in a gun-free zone in Texas. As someone who's been
it was
to Texas,
at a mall.
Yeah, there's no gun-free zone. They're just doing this for political gain. I almost ralphed. I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm done with the internet. I'm done.
You think the guy today was going too fast and lost control? I bet he didn't do it to kill them, but lost control. That is possible. But what did I see? That maybe he had a medical incident because he was being like uncooperative because he is in custody. So I guess we'll have to wait for the full story to come out. But I guess on the same stupid vein, why are they backpedaling about releasing the manifesto from the kid in the Nashville incident? They were like, "Oh, we're finally going to release the manifesto," and they were like, "Psych, no, we're not." Like, what are they hiding?
Because they don't want to humanize a problem. When you categorize something, it's easy to do nothing about it and just talk about it. But when you have actual proof and like, hey, this person said this because of this, and this was influenced by these people, they don't want to admit to it because somebody would have to take responsibility.
Maybe, yeah.
And we don't take responsibility in our society anymore.
No, this is true.
I love my security cameras.
He was drunk. He might have been, which would make sense as to why they were not being cooperative and acting off. Because, yeah, I don't know. There's too much crazy right now, and I just can't take it. I don't even think... Where is my list? There it is. Do we have anything good to talk about?
This is why I hang out in my house. This is why I've created this like wonderland in here, because no manifesto copycats. I agree with that, Alibaba. I agree. In America, we have nothing but copycats. Look at all the school. Like, I'm not trying to get too deep into it, but if you look at all the mass hootings, ever since that incident in Colorado that rhymes with Smollenbein. We've had nothing but copycats.
Yeah.
At least from our era, from the late 90s, thumbs in
Well,
your
because it didn't
sweater.
really even really happen until then.
Yeah, exactly. That was like the first real. Well, in LA, we had school shootings all the time, but no one cared when people were doing drive-bys at elementary schools. No
Yeah.
one cared. Oh, I did see that. Okay, I clicked off of that video. Now that I'm reading Alibaba's comment, I clicked off of that video because I
Ooh.
can't take it anymore.
Oh, I didn't see that. I don't want to. The clips that I saw were bad enough. I was like, yeah, no thanks. This is a mess.
It literally. Oh, my internet is funny. I don't know if it's because of Rumble. I am now addicted to slap fighting. Thank you, Dana White, for getting me into yet another thing I don't need in my life. But I watch these horrible videos on Twitter, and so they show me even more horrible and even more horrible.
Yeah,
It's a train wreck.
it really is. Oh, well, that was funny on Twitter, that Matt Walsh and the quartering beefing. That was kind of funny.
Oh, I didn't see that. What happened between
What happened between them? Do I even remember all of the backstory? Shoot.
My only real beef with Matt Walsh is that he complains about everything. So if it's not
I'm gonna get it wrong. I just know that they were beefing and it made me laugh.
Oh, no worries, Alibaba. No worries. Yeah, Liz, slap fighting's addicting. It's addicting.
Oh, here, this is differently unfunny. I don't know who watches Simpcast with Chrissy Mayer and her friends, but were they in Texas or were they leaving Vegas? It doesn't matter. They were at the gate at American to get on the plane, and wow, that's a different view of you. You've gone full robot on my screen, and my Rumbles is locked up. All right, we're just gonna roll with it.
I can see you.
The checkout attendant made them change their pants at the gate, and her friend must have been just wearing her pants, so completely flashed everybody. And then when Chrissy tweeted about it, American was like, "You'll need to follow us and send us a DM," and she's like, "F this shit, you're just gonna fix this."
Corporate
It's okay.
When corporations apologize, it makes me even more angry. As a professional Karen and someone who gets money back on, there was recently a wench I bought that I got ripped off for because the motor
A winch or a wench?
Both, because it didn't work and it was a problem.
just fair. I can go with that.
And the motor was backwards, and if you don't know AC/DC motors, I was like, how does this work? And the company was like, oh, it really doesn't. But after
thanks for selling me a dud.
That's what I said. After much haggling, I got my money back, but it took a while. They were hoping I would give up.
Yeah.
I hate it. Just, and they kept on coming to me with this lawyerese of, oh, but this and this, and did you do this, and we need you to do this, and subsection bylaw, and I'm like, give me my money back, please. I've sent it to you. I'm done with you. You have the equipment.
This might be the last time I buy from you. Just shush your face.
And they're before my father passed away, he ordered a lift for his car and he got ripped off for that. I tore into those people. But again, though, it took them 2 years to pay me back.
Oh my God. Dude. What happened to companies being honest and wanting to care about their consumers?
I don't even think it's the internet, because you can hide behind your computer. You're not interacting with a person. You can't see inflections. You can't see emotion. I have this problem with the Visible phone company. I thought I was going to be really smart and switch over to this company, and it's awful. I got what I paid for.
Yeah, I went for the wind. Yes.
Oh, it's awful. It was bad, and it was for work purposes, and I needed to be like actually working out the box. I know that sounds
Right,
crazy.
and safe, and right. I know who would have guessed something that was actually supposed to work went the way it was designed and promised.
I maybe do you think I think about this all the time. Oh, that's awesome.
We're getting there.
That's
It's way
awesome.
easier than just throwing random pieces together and then trying to do this step.
Do you think we grew up in the like end of real consumerism where you got actual like you paid for a product and you got what you were actually getting for that?
I'm gonna have to say at this point, I think 100%. I think now we're just getting shit crappy products, and it's not nice.
Because it seems to me that
Stuff
things
used
like
to last.
I recently bought a microphone for $80 from Target that didn't work. And they like gave me a
I
hassle for returning it.
Yeah, no, I've decided to my AV. I no, I didn't. Did I buy my? I did. I for my cameras and my audio visual stuff. I use BH Photo out of New York City. They are a great family owned Jewish company. On Friday night before Shabbos, like they say, like at this time we will be closed until Saturday at this next time. And they've been really no, it's great. I love it. So I've been kind of their stuff ships out. I've never had any problems with them. So they're my AV company.
Really quickly on a garbage product made out of your control quality standards slowly took over. I agree, Alibaba. Nothing works. And as somebody who is an avid collector of everything, oh, I'm so glad we are here. Okay, now that the experts are here, because Alibaba, you are my residential expert in chief.
We've got a sewing machine issue coming up, I see.
Is $80 too much for a wood sewing wheel loom? It's one of those fabric spinners.
You mean a knitting machine? A circular knitting machine?
Yes, and I'll tell you why I didn't buy it. Because I was in the store and I Googled it and I saw one for $20.
The $20 one probably doesn't work, but an old fashioned circular sock knitting machine that's got all of the needle hooky things are not inexpensive. And the circular ones are fancier than the straight
I'm
ones.
so glad I part of me like I'm glad that I'm sitting here. Because if if we were having this conversation on the phone, I would get in my car.
You would have gotten up and then got right. Like, and I now own a circular sock knitting machine.
But then, like, I told the kid, like, you know what's so funny? When I first met you, you said this, and now I say it for everything. Do I have the space for another piece of furniture?
Good. I'm glad that we've become friends and I learned you something.
So I'm in the store and I'm saying out loud, I don't have space for that.
What would Phoenix say to me? I think right, or as Ailey says, did you actually mean a spinning wheel versus a knitting machine?
Because
they're not the
wheel.
same things.
It's a big wooden wheel.
Hit or miss, because sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. But $20 for a spinning wheel, I've never. A new Ashford is like $800.
I saw those too. That's why part of me was like, maybe I should go purchase this thing, and the other part was like, because I'm so compulsive, I buy duds sometimes. Look at all these stinking Kenmores that I have that don't work. I'm addicted to duds, so I tell myself like, hey, bro, you just get that thrifty feeling, or and because I can spend the money, I have to check myself. Like, because when I was broke, it wouldn't even have been a question.
If a spinning wheel in good condition, if I knew it worked for $80, I probably would have been on it like white on rice.
See, Alibaba, I'm down to get into it because I'm crazy and I love like one person sports.
But then I would honestly just get a drop spindle as the human who has like 5 drop spindles. You can spin more wool in a day in a drop spindle because you can carry it around with you. You're stuck to your chair on your fanny with a spinning wheel.
It just looks cool and reminds me of a Rumpelstiltskin book I read in like the 4th or 5th grade.
Yes, that is a good story. Rumpelstiltskin spinning flax into gold.
So
There.
these poor kids, because I look cool and they don't realize I'm 20 to 25 years older than they are. They're just they just have the store open, you know? And they were probably like, who is this psycho? Who is this crazy? Because I walked straight up to the counter because I've been to the store. I know the store better. Oh, I know it better than the employees. Drop spindle is so 15th century.
I know, but I love them. The funniest one was that I was at the Black Sheep Festival up in the Eugenes. I can't remember. Somebody was selling glass drop spindles, and I was like, this is cheeky, but a terrible idea because sometimes literally you drop your spindle.
Yeah, that's not a good. So it was like 89. So 89 plus tax, it would come out to 90 something bucks.
You'd have to go down the rabbit hole of looking to make sure all of the pieces are there, though.
That's true, because when I looked it up, when I saw the diagram, it said A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L. You know, it said over here, then here, then here, then here. And I was like, ooh, that looks complicated.
Yes. That's the other issue, that sometimes they're not. Spinning wheels can be like sewing machines, and sometimes you can revive them, and sometimes they're just decorative pieces of novelty trash.
That's what stopped me, because I am over ambitious. Like I am, and so I have to check myself sometimes because I'm willing to take on things not knowing anything about it. Like, oh, this has to do with sewing, so I'm gonna.
And then wool is expensive. You have to make sure you keep it out of the way of the moths, and it cannot be. It sometimes isn't good for your allergies because wool sometimes is like dusty. So
Is this the fog machine?
If it works, you can bring it to me. But if not, I don't recommend it for you. This is just as a friend.
This is my fog machine all over again. I have a fog machine, okay? Isaiah and I would put it in his room. Isaiah and I, we rocked out with the fog machine. And one day I realized it was slowly giving me pneumonia.
Yeah.
So it's the fog machine all over. I love that stupid thing, but it doesn't love me.
It just doesn't love you back. I know. Actually, under this table, I've got a whole tub of wool that I've been spinning. That was going to be one of my other projects for this year, was to finish spinning up all the wool I have, because my yarn collection is I don't have enough of any one thing without mixing a gajillion things to make a project, which is not a problem. I mean, my grandmother was amazing of color combining, texture combining. The woman could not read a written pattern. She would just look at the magazines and read the pictures and just knit the most amazing things.
That's such a skill to me.
It is. So I have to. Where was the end of that story? Was I have to finish spinning my wool so that I have enough wool to make a new project. So me and the drop spindle have some dates. Maybe we'll do that in June, because right now we're in Make, Do, and Mend May, and my project list might take longer than May.
See, that's why we're here. I'm so glad. I'm so glad that we had this conversation because I really wanted to buy it, but something was like, dude, do your research.
I'm glad we could talk you out of spending $80 that you probably shouldn't have. I mean, you could have, but
I'm on a new kick of I bleed money because I have compulsive habits, so I'm trying to be aware of the things that I do. Like,
yeah,
I allowed my son to start having a Jack in the Box habit, and it's like 20 something dollars a pop. And I explained to him, we can go to the store and buy all this food, and you could eat for 2 weeks for the same amount that we go to Jack. Not the same amount,
yes,
but like.
right, but close enough. Yeah,
So, like I said before we started, I bought this as well. Oh, and I have a really weird sweatshirt I want to show you. It's really weird. But
I know Allie making items from fashion plates is an art. She would also walk through the fancy shops in Warsaw and just go home. I think I probably showed it. I should do a standalone video about it of that green beaded dress with the jacket.
Is this cultural appropriation?
Let's see here. Oh, is this the elephant print one?
I'm gonna make an awesome cape.
That sounds good.
And it's Better Home and Gardens too. So I figured because it's a Western company, it's already been appropriated.
Yeah. Right, that 89 Weaver could be 2 to 3 sewing machine Kenmores.
They sell them so cheap here, Alibaba. That could be like 4 or 5 of them. That's the problem with the Kenmores. I don't think I've paid more than $20 for one. Like I'll walk up to like 10. There's one time I bought 3 at once because one was $8, one was like 11.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Somebody on the Craigslist up here has got 3 different Morse machines. Like there's a pink one, there's a green one, and something else, but they're like $200 or $300 a pop. And I'm like, I could, but I don't have the space. I don't have the know-how. Well, I could get people. We could live stream them trying to fix it. So that's really not the issue. But to spend $300 on something I don't know is going to work if it needs parts, that I'm like, I just don't know.
I'm like that with anything over $100. I have to sit down and talk to my banker, aka me.
You got to talk to hands. You're like, do we have this machine in the catalog already? Yes or no? Okay, no.
Are you kidding me? There are certain retailers who have learned to not ask him questions because he's honest. Because there's the old cliche of, oh, I didn't know he had autism. Like, my son is deadpan honest. If you ask him a question, he will give you an answer. And he'll tell you, oh, no, this sucks. Oh, that doesn't look right. Is this broken? That looks broken. He speaks up.
Right. So it takes everybody aback. You're like, oh, shit, we just got called out by a teenager.
Oh, wow, Alibaba. $2.
And it even had a spool of white Gutermann that would have been $7. 400 yards. Oh my God, you shit! You bought a sewing machine and got thread as a bonus, or you bought thread and got a sewing machine as a bonus.
You totally reminded me of something. When my pops passed away, I found this huge stash of Gutterman thread. I still have it, and I was like, I went from grieving to being like, "You salty pirate! You were hiding this from me."
Share this thread with. I could have used this thread.
I still have it. But he was gonna make. That's where a lot of the pleather came from. He wanted to make Porsche seat covers for the truck, and I'm kind of glad he never did because the pleather would have been really uncomfortable on the sitting on it. Like where I live, it's hot.
Summer, you would have right. You would have needed to cover it with towels so you didn't like have 3-degree burns if you were wearing your shorts.
2 weeks ago, it was 90 degrees here, and I was like, "Oh, I'm not ready. I am not ready for summer." Like it's gonna come fast here.
Yup.
That's
It
like
does.
when I moved to Oregon with a convertible car. I learned within 2 months why people in Oregon do not own convertibles unless it's in a garage.
Yeah, between that and like forest fire smoke, you just don't want to expose yourself to that.
I showed up literally with a VW Rabbit and wearing Vans, and I left wearing flannels and boots. Literally.
Which you never stopped wearing.
That is one thing I loved about Oregon, because I came from one of the most pretentious parts of Los Angeles, and I moved to Portland, and literally going to a fancy restaurant, like having a clean shirt on was good enough to walk in.
Right. Oh, that's a good segue. Speaking of things where you need to be dressed up for, what about these 4 horses, 2 of them that were injured and 2 of them that died unexpectedly over this week right before the Derby?
Was this where was this Derby? Is this the
The
Kentucky
Kentucky Derby. Yeah.
Okay.
They lost
In the
4
past
horses this week.
in the past 10 years, in the Santa Anita racetracks in Los Angeles, I think it's an illness in the dirt, but we've had just countless amount of horses die. So it's probably the same thing. There's these weird illnesses that go around, and then the companies don't want to say anything because they make millions. Could you imagine right now in Santa Anita, there are thousands of gamblers. They're at the racetrack on the machines. They're betting on horses. You could smoke there. You could drink.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's maybe the illness, but I think also probably the copious amount. Those horses get more drugs than probably most professional bodybuilders get, or on par.
Oh, exactly. And like, I feel that's a definite soft spot for me, because it's a big deal here in LA. They're trying to shut down the horse races, but they can't, because the horse races they make more money than everybody else. So they have lobbyists.
Yeah.
And plus it's a part like greyhound racing, unfortunately, like I was there right when it got shut down, okay? And their justification was that this is a part of the American culture.
No, it's okay. I
and
have
so
to pause.
They use the same justification for it here in Santa Anita, saying, hey, this has been around, this is an institution. Like, we've been racing horses before all y'all were born, so get out of here,
Oh, well, so you'll be happy. What did they just pass the bill? So any person who's been Black and living in this country since 1900, sign up. You can sign up for your money in California.
My mom legitimately came to me and she was like, you need to go in your storage unit and get your dad's filing cabinet out, because your ASS could be rich. Like, and I thought she was kidding, but she said this to me last night. Then I watched a news story. I didn't want to bring it up.
Because, sorry.
No, because I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you the truth. And I've been so canceled for this. When people ask me what my race is, I say I'm an American.
Yep.
Because my I'm such an American, it's not even funny. That's where my roots are. Even though that my grandparents were both born in a different country, my father's family was here since the Revolutionary War. Like, that counts.
Yep.
So, look, if someone was going to give you $5 million, would you turn it down, Phoenix?
Probably not. If I'm gonna
give me 100,000. Give me
right.
Give me.
If I have to do nothing and you just hand me money, like, sure, no feet pics involved, no cooter pics.
And that's another thing. Like, if you gave me $5 million, I would disappear for 6 months, and I would move to an even smaller house. And then
I realize you don't have enough room for sewing machines.
I'm with Alibaba. Like, I'm a Neanderthal. Do I get reparations for Neanderthal? See, I'm gonna get in trouble. See, I'm desensitized because I'm gonna get canceled, because I feel like at this point in the human race, we're pretty much integrated. Like, In the black culture, there's this thing where someone will say, "Oh, I'm mixed with Indian. I'm part native." No, you're half white. It's okay. Like it's okay. Like African
Right, we don't
American.
need to flex. Oh, well, that's funny too, because that what University of California professor was like, "Oh wait, I wasn't indigenous this whole time. I've actually just been a white girl. Sorry
You know,
again."
I really didn't think about it until this YouTuber I watched played a full Rachel Dolezal interview, and he was like, "How could you not be mad?" Alone in this room, I was like, "Bro, I am mad." So there has to be a line, and I get it. But if you're gonna give me $5 million, Godless Someone's gonna disappear, and I'm gonna come back with a Juki in a bigger room with a really big American flag.
I'm not gonna have a house. I'm just gonna have a Juki in a room.
And hands is gonna need a Segway to find me in the giant freaking. I'll just build another shop. I literally will just we'll find a plot of land and just put the same size shop at my job because I love how big it is. It's like Mr. Rogers' Playland in there.
Right.
I don't know
think
how to
the
feel
funny-
about that. I honestly don't know how to feel about reparations. I wish my dad was here. I wish, because he's the one who deserves it. His grandmother was a born slave. His father was a 6'7" giant black man who was a porter. I have reaped every benefit because of them. I live in the lap of luxury because of them. So I'm the wrong person to ask. But if you want to give me $5 million, I'm going to shut my mouth.
Like, right, I'll shut my face and take it. I think the funniest flex, though, was that in Texas, too? I can't remember where. I think he was a city representative. Oh, his last name was Webb, who was like, you need to, I now identify as a white lesbian African American, and you need to honor my identity. And with all of the identity politics, they're like, oh shit, maybe we like, how do we manage this one?
That's another thing. I'm going to be really honest, and I'm going to say this just for semantics. I'm half Mexican. My mother is a real life European Spaniard. So would I get half? But my father was a real ancestral African. So would I get half of the money? Like, I don't
No,
get
I
it.
think it's just having not white skin.
Hey, Gilroy!
Hey!
It's just weird to me that they're like, man, if they give me $5 million. I always jokingly say this because there was a YouTuber in the atheist. Well, he was a Christian, but he spent over $200,000 or $300,000 within a couple years. You gave, well, I can't say if you did. If you gave me that much money, I would have it 4 or 5 years later. I would still have a good chunk, damn near all of it, still 4 or 5 years later, with a gambling habit. You know, so it amazes me that I honestly don't know how to feel about reparations. If you're gonna give me $5 million, I don't know. Like I said, I'm an American. When people ask me what's your race, I say American just to be insulting.
Yeah, well, I know, because it on some levels it kind of touches a little bit close to home, but it's not. How do they? The documentation, like, because there was that whole thing in the 80s and 90s for folks who left Europe and were Jews during the Holocaust, but even though we could prove it, like, my family still, like, I've not been compensated. My family was never compensated, and half my family's gone. I'd open a dispensary, but $5 million won't buy me a fan closet in California. No, it won't.
It's true, and if you think about it, everybody in my neighborhood who owns a home is a millionaire. Because with assets, the houses around here and with all the stuff in front of your house, that's about $1 million, you know.
Right, and the cars and all that stuff. Yeah. Oh God.
That means every person in my neighborhood is basically a millionaire, so it means nothing because people are like below the poverty. It's so weird. My neighborhood is a really weird mix of gentrification and people who have inherited houses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, be safe, Liz. I got some of the best reading ever on the buses in Portland.
I wish I didn't get motion sick, but I guess now with audio books, I could like listen to stuff. I can't read while somebody else is driving.
I would do it also because I have that like please be a psycho to me face. I have that face that says please walk up to me and be crazy. It actually happened to me 3 different times. Isaiah thinks it's my cowboy hat.
Well, at least you didn't have the same effect as Jordan Neely. And the way that whole thing is getting spun too, I'm blowing through all my. Sorry, folks. This is just like the Debbie Downer Sunday stream. Hope you've got something that's you're working on that's bringing you joy, because I've got nothing but shitty topics this week.
I'm cleaning out my closet. I found a Donald Trump shirt. I was a lineman before I got my job because I did many odd jobs before I got my nepotism job. And it's a T-shirt with Donald Trump saying you're the best lineman ever. I laugh at how many political shirts I have, and I'm not a political person. I could honestly care less. And like I have a ton. It's because I'm addicted to free T-shirts.
Fair, yeah. I'm kind of addicted to free stuff in general. If I have to be most honest.
I'll sign up for your club. I'll take your phone calls and your emails if you give me a free shirt. Like I even have a sheriff shirt, and I hate my local sheriff's department. I think they're a bunch of, you want to talk about nepotism?
I know, and that whole. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no! I was just gonna say, it's just known. Like if you come to my business, have a free T-shirt if you want to sell me something.
Don't come without a goodie bag.
I see you ditching. I see you bitching. Just what the video says will deliver. Damn right.
Yes, good. I know. I try to be always honest and deliver with my promises. And yes, that's why when I started this show 2 years. Well, I've been streaming for 18 months, but I haven't popped off since this year. It's always just been the Sunday Stitch and Bitch because I just dreamed of stitching and hanging out with folks and just talking in like the old-fashioned sewing circles. That was my dream with this, and it's starting to come to fruition.
Oh my gosh.
Or it is fruited. No.
Linda made more blankets.
Aww.
And yesterday, do you know, I have really surreal moments, but I was sitting in a room with 9 adults over 70, and they were all trying to give me tips about how to promote my YouTube channel. And I thought that was
adorable.
The most
they were ironically odd.
They're like, you should call Bobby. He works in the IT department and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh yeah, my son is blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm so technologically unadvanced that 70-year-olds are giving me tips.
Oh, you're funny, Kilroy. I was thinking you had the Trump shirt because he owned the WWE for a while. I did not know that. But this whole stupid E. Jean Carroll lawsuit is a hot dumpster fire. I'm trying to be positive, but let's be honest. We need a good kvetch on a regular basis. We do, which is, I'm glad that we're here for the stitching and the kvetching, because I love that word.
I've recently started hotboxing my truck, and it's brought me back to when I was a teenager, and it makes me laugh because now I have an iPhone. So I go and I back my truck up, and everyone in my neighborhood knows what the hell I'm doing. And when I open my door, it's like Cheech and Chong. I'm a grown man laughing at myself, but it's brought me back. Like it makes me laugh. But that one little stupid thing that I do has brought joy to my life.
Good.
So
right. Sometimes it's the little things that
it's just the dumbest thing. Like I watch this one channel, and tonight, like they release all their new stuff at midnight. So at midnight, I'm gonna go in my truck and smoke and watch my show. You know,
it's my program. Just leave me alone, damn it. I know, but free things used to be so cool. Because maybe at Halloween I'll bring them out for my background because I've been promising for years. But I have a handful of 1960s anatomical models that were from Merck when they were promoting new drugs in the 60s. We won't even get into my notepad collection from when drugs used to be name brand, because I've got original, like, before Prozac was generic, I've got promotional material. Don't hotbox the truck. It will have a perma smell, and they can tell you to park it when pulled over. Oh, God.
So I'm torn on this because I agree with you. And where I live, they were like, okay, pot's legal. Now anything in the car is a DUI. Okay, so if you even get caught with a J or anything, well, basically if you're driving while smoking.
Yeah.
But I knew the original owner of the truck, and he was a compulsive smoker. And
So it
so
was if you were screwed before you.
it still smells like Captain Black pipe tobacco. Still to this day. And like the man, like he quit driving that thing like freak a while ago because I took it over a while ago. And like it still reeks of pipe tobacco. And I haven't
There's
smoked
no saving it.
Oh yeah. So when I go in there and I tested it out because my mom is so shocked that I'm still a stoner after all of these years. She looks at me and she's like, this is the only thing you've ever stuck with in your entire life. I'm joking.
That was a
backhanded
compliment. Mostly just backhand.
But like I've really been working on the truck lately, so I picked her up in it and she didn't say a word. But part of me is like, is she just used to me being a hapless stoner, or did she not say anything? But my mom, my mom speaks up. She speaks up.
Yeah, she doesn't strike me as the lady who'd, like, if something was not right, you'd be informed. Especially if she said stuff previously.
All my clothes, Kilroy, every time I go to my storage unit, it smells like Captain Black. All my clothes, like anything that I find from back in the day, because when I quit smoking, I didn't realize, because I smoked Captain Black, I didn't realize how it was entrenched in my pores. It was in everything. I miss Captain Black, but it was destroying my lungs.
What's not? I mean, we live in a place where fire's a season, and then if it's not fire season, there's controlled burns. There's no getting away from long-term lung damage where I live.
And also here, I was thinking about it, like, before, when I was a kid, we had smog.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why. Okay, science works. The smog pump literally saved LA. You can look it up. It cleans the air. Whoop-de-whoop. I don't know what's happened. I think it's because we have more people here, but don't quote me on that because I'm not a scientist, But we now have the dust from the fires and smog. So you can look on the hill. And the other day, Isaiah was like, look at the haze. I was like, bro, it's 2:00 in the afternoon. It is 90 degrees outside. That's not haze. That's smog and gunk in the air. Because when I lived in the city, I got sick about every 3 or 4 months. Every 3 or 4 months, I would get sick. When I moved to Oregon and also in Arizona, I didn't get sick one time. The entire time, because it's actual real fresh air, So LA is gross. Yeah. The air is gross here. We're like Mexico City.
Right. Well, I know, and New York's trying to be all like, I can't believe, did it pass? I think it did pass. New York State had legislation to ban natural gas heating and to force everybody to electric, which is the dumbest thing ever, because if your power goes out, you have no heat. New York gets cold. It snows. There's ice storms. Do not do that to folks where, like, blizzards and 77 fucking inches of snow just happened. Ugh. That, like, they're just trying to kill people off.
It's going to be like China, where everyone has propane stoves in their house. I mean, propane heaters in their house. People are going to start
it's going to be more dangerous, and people are going to die from carbon monoxide poisoning. Like, oh my God.
They have that problem.
If you're fortunate enough to have a fireplace or a pellet stove or something, but still, that shit's expensive.
I actually I watch the weirdest stuff on YouTube. I am addicted to falling down rabbit holes. Like I know nothing about this culture, and in about 3 hours, I'm gonna claim to be an expert. But I watched this thing on these giant wooden cities that are in China. They're basically towns that everyone lives in. They're just these big wooden structures, and people have propane heaters everywhere. And my first thought was, how do you guys all not croak? You're in these tiny rooms, in these wooden freaking rooms with these propane gas heaters. Like that just seems dangerous. To an American, that's the scariest thing ever.
Right. Well, I mean, compared to their working conditions, that sounds like a safe haven.
The law they passed only bans it in new construction.
New construction. All right, but still. So, I don't know. It's just dumb. It's just dumb. New York, get your head out of your ass. Which, honestly, unfortunately, if you can afford a new house, you're rich enough to put in generators. Fair. Yes. Okay.
I
So,
agree.
yes, I guess that would be a reasonable workaround. But, oh, god damn. Yeah, New York State property taxes are stupid.
Oh, Gilroy, I thought the same thing. I have to find the YouTuber because she goes around China and she shows parts of China that the average Westerner will never see. Because she shows like like these wood towns, they're all over China too. And people basically live together in these weird conglomerates.
Well, right, because you own nothing and you'll be happy, according to Carl Schwab. Klaus Schwab.
You couldn't get me. You couldn't get me in one of those. I'd have to have my own.
Seriously. And I know there's cultures that eat bugs, but adopting cricket protein as just like, I'm going to start eating crickets, you can go F yourself.
Okay, I had a German friend who ate crickets, and I thought it was gross. He would eat cricket chocolates.
Yeah, I don't even think you could dip a scorpion in chocolate and make it would end up in my face.
And I thought that he was just trying to like make me queasy, but the person, like his Oma, who I grew up with,
Yeah,
she's like, "Oh yeah, we eat these all the time in Germany." And I was like, "These are the most disgusting things I've ever seen in my life."
yeah. I mean, a grasshopper ice cream does not actually have grasshoppers in it. Ay, ay, ay.
Sometimes I think it's my computer is slow, but it's the service in general that is slow. Those wood cities were made when they didn't have three gorges. What?
Yeah,
Oh, all the three. They didn't have three gorges. I get it. All the
three gorgeous.
all the forests were used.
Ugh.
It's just, and you know, as an American, okay, we have everything is planned, so everything's on a grid. It's kind of like watching that. It's kind of like whenever I go to Mexico. When you're in San Diego and you're looking into Mexico, you can see the difference because lights are everywhere, and nothing's planned. It's so crazy compared to America. And you can literally see the difference when you're standing on the border. You can see the Mexican side and the American side because everything we have is on a grid, and they don't have a grid. So it's like green, yellow lights, fluorescent everywhere. It's actually a sight. TJ is weirdly, eerily beautiful. Eating crickets to make
your junk buddies freak out. That's about it, in my opinion. Okay, yeah, okay. I might. You might be able to pay me enough of something to eat crickets, but of my own volition, I need some better incentives.
I actually just had this conversation yet. Oh my gosh. So before I get to my duck head soup story that I've already told, yesterday I saw Marquette and I was like, I miss you. They had to go do their taxes.
Yeah.
And he laughed so hard because he knew what I was talking about. Because they both pulled up. I gave him a hug. I was like, come and smoke. I don't know when I'm going to see you next. Come over here right now. But my ex-wife and I, we used to try to one-up each other because we're extremely competitive. And like, that's why we can't be around each other because we are fiercely competitive towards each other. She ate a fisheye on a deep deep sea fishing expedition, and she made grown men like literally like because she ate a fisheye on a challenge. And in Chinatown, she ordered duck soup, and it came with the duck head. And we were just literally having this conversation yesterday.
I used to live in Europe for a bit. Town centers were like that, not on a grid and meander all over the place with those walkways and roads. I know,
Yeah.
but I want to go back to Europe. Might have to get myself one of those digital weird passports.
I
It's been
get
a hot
lost.
minute and mine's expired.
Sorry, I get lost easily. The second Madagascar, I think whichever one came out in the early 2000s, will forever remind me of when I lost my car at the 3rd Street Promenade in Los Angeles. I've lost my car in San Francisco. I need professional help. I know. I need a grid. I need a square grid. I will get lost. I've learned. I take my picture whenever I go to Disneyland. I take a picture of my parking space.
Which right, and then the light post with which
Damn right.
section, a letter and number section you're in.
I do that at Walmart. My local Walmart has like row F, row A. You know, I'm like, okay, I parked in J. I smoked one. I should pay attention.
Kilroy's too lazy for things not to be on a grid. Well, and it sounds like
Same.
depending on where you are in Pennsylvania, what's the grid is like the county line, and then you drive and you're in the next county, or you're in Tennessee.
That's the one thing I love about like the middle of nowhere out in the desert. They are on a square grid. Like you cannot get lost in the desert. If you know where you're going, like well,
Just don't need
actually,
to stop for gas past Elko.
there was one time, and I got this off the internet. There's this highway called Templin Highway, and it's an old highway that connects you to the 15 that takes you to Vegas. And I got in some weird room where someone was like, "Oh, it cuts an hour off your ride." I was so lost that I felt like it didn't, and then I look up and I'm at the 15. So maybe it did cut an hour or two off the trip, but I felt so lost like the entire time. I was like, I don't know where I am. I have no idea where I am right
You're
now.
like, do I have enough water? Did I fill up the gas tank just in case I'm gonna be lost out here for days?
And it's like scary Walter White country. Like these are where the real tweakers live. Like not the funny ha ha ha. Like you drive past someone's house and there's a big black cloud over it. I do not miss my gambling days. Like now that I'm over gambling, I want to take Isaiah to see a show. Oh, excuse me. I want him to go see the Rat Pack and Marilyn Monroe.
Oh, that would be good. Get some culture into him.
I don't know if he would go with me to go see the RuPaul Drag Race thing.
Oh, you could go see a Cirque du Soleil show. Because don't they got one out there? That would be good.
Yeah. I've seen it. At least whatever that particular theme was, they were cowboys. I've also I've seen the Blue Man Group. I've said this before and I'll say it a million times. Do not dog someone until you see them in person. It was intense. I was like, am I rocking out at a Blue Man Group?
Well, they really can play.
They go off. And it's entertaining. Like Vegas is, you know, if you're headlining in Vegas, even Carrot Top is funny, and he looks like my grandmother with red hair. With all he got a ton of like. I'm not anti-plastic surgery, but Carrot Top has turned himself into my grandmother. Dio did the same thing. I saw Dio in person, and I was like, Dio, you are my grandmother.
Oh, that's funny. Silly.
Summer's coming up, and I'm itching for a trip.
Me too, but I just want to go to the coast and eat good seafood and smell brackeny sea air and pick up seashells.
Absolutely. The Disney on Ice Pinocchio got canceled.
Well, that's a whole thing that I don't. That whole Disney DeSantis Reedy Creek Improvement Project debacle that's going on right now, with the possibility that Disney did nefarious things with government bonds and who was involved. Like, it's going to be interesting to see how that whole shit falls out.
Dio was actually a hero of mine. Before I go off about Disney, because it's like part of me wants to see them defeat DeSantos, but then it's an evil corporation that starves out their employees and encourages them to go on welfare.
Well,
But
and that's not even the least of it from the sounds of it.
I love Dio, and when I saw Iron Maiden, Dio, and Motorhead in that exact opposite order, because Motorhead opened up for Dio and Iron Maiden, but Dio tore the house down. I'm in love with Sabbath. It's kind of the stuff I grew up on. I was shocked when I saw him in person, and he looked like my grandmother. I was shocked. But Disneyland has a lot to answer for.
Yeah, they do.
But they've been targeted wrongfully by Ron DeSantos.
No,
is an idiot.
he
not.
might be, but having false government bonds and having the lawyers and not have good separation between a public entity and money you're getting from the government, Disney fucked themselves up the a-hole till 2 ways to tomorrow, and they're gonna burn for it. I can't believe DeSantis actually thinks he can win a suit against a legitimate multinational conglomerate. They can afford to spend money and lawyers than he'll ever make in his life. He can, but the government has deep pockets. I don't know. This is
It bothers
I'm
me.
defaulting to Andrew Legal Mindset, who was a corporate lawyer and interfaced with Disney on these issues.
If I was Disney, I'm biased because I'm a Californian. I would take every bolt. I would take everything and leave the state of California and bring everything to where all, because Disney what people don't know. Disney has the largest fleet in the world. They own more boats than navies around the world. Disney is like McDonald's. They own more property in America than, like, McDonald's is a real estate company. Their hamburgers is second. You know what I'm saying? Like, so Disney, if I was the owner, I'd be like, okay, screw you. We're gonna bankrupt. We're gonna bankrupt Southern Florida. Like, literally, how many parks does Disney own? Because here, like, they own all of Anaheim and San Diego. If you go to anything in San Diego, that's owned by Disney. All those, like, SeaWorld, all of that. That's a Disney, subsidiary that thereof.
Right. I think this is going to be an interesting loss. I think this is going to be interesting.
I just don't like him. I do not like him. Isaiah has a DeSantis flag. I'm not anti debate in my house. I just personally do not like the man. Don't get you have that look in your face, bro. Like, Isaiah's looking at me.
Can I flash my flag on stream now? I don't care, Hands. You can, as long as you got your pants on, you're okay. Hey, Hands, because we're not that kind of a channel on all sorts of ways. Wow, I'm going to stop that right there.
No, a long time ago, I told him, I think it's creepy when people show minors on, that's why he does the hands thing, because when he was a little kid, I told him, I think it's creepy when people show minors on YouTube, but that's me. That's my, like people always talk about protection of minors and stuff, but they don't do it. And there was someone I used to stream with that their kid would pop on all the time, and I felt it was like exploitive almost.
Yeah, I don't like it. But I don't know. Maybe it's the bias of being an adult human who doesn't have any positive experiences with that personally. It's just a whole bunch of shitty stuff. So I just don't like seeing kids on the internet. But I'm a biased grouch. I'm okay with that.
I will totally. Yesterday, Isaiah was watching a video about. Do you know? Hindsight trips me out. People were critiquing the trilogy of the 3 Star Wars movies that came out in the 2000s. They're saying how awful they were. I'm sitting in the
You were
hallway and I
saying
was
that
like,
since the 90s, that you
was
were
like,
either a Jar Jar Binks stan or you hated it back then. This is
oh,
nothing new.
Jar Jar Binks was a debacle. But Darth Jar Jar was a comic that actually was amazing because they took Jar Jar and ran. So Darth Jar Jar is actually awesome.
I've not seen that one. Oh, I'm glad you're at work, Liz, and that you enjoy Pinocchio.
You know what, Alibaba, I think it's because I grew up like in the era of like the kids of the different stroke era with Todd Bridges, and I can't remember her other name. Like, I think even child actors are weird. Like, but maybe I'm overprotective. Maybe it's just me.
Well, at least child actors in California have their families are subject to labor laws and they need provisions set up for like and you need to be at school and you have to have a trust fund set up for their earnings so that they have it. But
Oh, excuse me.
YouTube
But
families are not subject to those same types of regulations, and I think that's where it feels weird.
also, will YouTube won't let the word dissent. YouTube won't. Hold on, let me look really quick before I misspeak. You can't say the D word on YouTube. They took Kilroy's comment.
Did they
Because I'm looking at it on this screen and I can see Kilroy's comment, and on
right?
this it's not popped up. YouTube. That Rumble
YouTube,
commercial is so right. That Rumble commercial is so right.
Oh God. Well, they're
I
doing.
see you. I see you, Kilroy. I see you.
I see you too. Oh, I can't. Here. Oh no, that's not the one.
There you go.
Here, take that, YouTube.
That bothers me so much. That bothers me so much how much they have cracked down. They've really cracked down on my channel. Right now my last video has 900 views. If you look, it says it has like 100 something. Like, I ticked off the algorithm.
I don't know what we did last week. Whether it was somehow my stream last week on Rumble has just under 600. I don't know how long people watched it over the course of a week.
That's awesome.
But I was like, sweet, I earned another penny. I earned 3 cents from Rumble.
I need to
buy myself a new sewing machine.
I need to start linking my channel. Kids deserve their privacy and they can't really consent to their likeness being okay. This is a weird thing about my job too, about people with special needs. They cannot necessarily give consent, so we're not allowed to take pictures of anyone that has special needs or exploit them, put them on any kind of social media. And Michael Jackson proved that kids deserve. Yeah, Michael Jackson's one of the most effed up human beings that ever walked on the planet.
Yeah, he did not. He had a hard go of a lot of things.
The man literally got plastic surgery to turn himself into Peter Pan.
Yeah, that whole thing is weird and weirder.
And I need to find the pictures, because saying like people get on me because I didn't realize how much of a spectacular life I had until I got on YouTube. And this is all because of nepotism and because of my brother's father. My parents have been married many times. I believe it was the '92 Super Bowl. I saw Michael Jackson and Whitney Houston, and there happened to be a football game. I have pictures. I got to go on the field during halftime. You could probably go on YouTube.
You could probably Google YouTube it.
If you're gonna, but you'll probably
get a copyright claim.
Yeah, but you'll probably see me on there, with my dad's Nikon camera. My sister cried. People passed out. MJ MJ was the color of my mother.
Right before, did he have alopecia or just a subject to dermatologist and skin bleaching?
I have I have like I have spots. I don't know if it's vitiligo, but this entire side right here is a different color. That's why I started growing sideburns, because I got self-conscious, but as I got older, I don't care. Like this entire
Mm-hmm.
side is a different color. I have milk spots on my back. Um your spots don't connect. They're just there. Like, so
True, true.
I think he bleached his skin. And in the world of people of color, no one buys more skin bleach than people from China and Africa.
Yeah, why
No one
being white's
on
not
earth.
that amazing, but I guess it's
And
that's long thought of privilege and
it just and that's why I went off about Sammy Sosa. That's why I constantly show Sammy Sosa's picture. Because don't bleach your
yeah.
skin. Love who you are.
Right.
It's okay if you're dark. I exist in a world of a lot of dark people. People call me, Marquette called me light skinned 2 weeks ago, and I said thank you. It is what it is.
Right.
It is what it is.
All right. I am going to let you hold down the fort. The cats are going to ask me to feed them their dinner, so I will be right back, kiddos.
Awesome. Awesome. Do you know, I was going to start my ugly coat, but I always come here and I start smoking J's and it's a debacle. But I am going to be making a lime. I don't know. What color is this considered? What color would you call this? I'm calling it an ugly coat. It has almost like a couch cushion texture to it. So I'm stoked. It's going to be a crazy coat. What would you call that? Lime green? Green? Slime green? But I'm on this whole kick of actually adding color to my life. So I need and plus, let's be real. I'm known as the coat guy now. 70s oven. Thank you. I knew you would not disappoint. Sure, lime. Exactly. Like, sure, dude. Sure, dude. It's lime. It looks like a couch cover to me. It reminds me of my old. I can't even say it without laughing. It reminds me of my aunt's old couch. She had this extremely dark house. I mean, everything was brown and leather. Everything was smoky. And then she had this really weird lime green couch. It was the strangest thing. So I when I saw that, I was like, oh, I need that material. So, does anybody know who Jason Derulo is? Yesterday, I was at Walmart being cool, cooling out, being cool, minded my own business. And I was in the fabric counter and I overheard the young ladies that work there say, Jason Derulo is here. Jason Derulo. And tomorrow I'll show you pictures. On my live stream, I'll show you pictures. I had no idea who this young man was. I had no idea. But when I went to go pay for all the cat food and the fabric and everything, he was there. And it made me laugh because I'll show you the pictures tomorrow. You couldn't miss the guy because his friend, not a ring light. The guy had a fluorescent light that looked like a lightsaber. This like their YouTube game was on the moon. On the moon. They had their cameras and everything. But it looked obnoxiously annoying, and he was so famous that all the under 20s that worked there were walking up to him. How do you feel about engaging with famous people?
I've only had very limited opportunities, so I don't have. I saw. Actually, I can only think of twice in my life, like kind of up close. So in October at the airport, I saw Pete Buttigieg with his handlers walking into the bathroom in Chicago at O'Hare.
I always feel like if I ever see a politician, I'm going to go to jail because I don't care if they're on my side. I'm going to yell at them, "You're destroying my country."
Right. And then the other time I was at the for the 75th anniversary of the women's right to vote in Seneca Falls, New York.
Awesome.
I was on the stage with Hillary Clinton, but that's kind of for better or worse at this point. I was young and I didn't know any better, that they were all assholes. Don't hold it against me. I was there for the Girl Scouts.
You know what? Because of my father, I got to meet George Bush. And he was actually a nice guy, even though he was trying to destroy the planet at the time.
Yeah, they all are. But that's funny. A good segue though too. So I guess somebody just bought Epstein Island.
Why would you buy R-word Island?
Pedo Island? I don't know who wants Pedo Island. But...
You couldn't wash those sheets enough for me. And
no, you have to like salt, burn, pour concrete, and then steel, and then maybe. But yeah, I don't know.
And then you hope the elevator works. Imagine if you get stuck and the elevator doesn't work, or the power goes out and you're stuck on R-word Island, man. No way.
No, that just sounds like a bad horror show. I don't know who's famous anymore, so I could have talked to thousands of famous people last month and I wouldn't know. Fair. Oh, Norm Macdonald. Congratulations getting to meet Norm Macdonald. He sounded like that is a comedian that... Why did they take all the comedians last year? That was a terrible thing. He kept hearing that there was someone that looked like him. That was me. He was looking for me one time. He heard I was around. Oh my gosh. You must have a fascinating job at some place where... Do you work in the theater? You work at a theater.
Oh my god. So, I've been to the AVNs three times in my life. That's the adult corridor. Every January in Vegas. I have a good friend that I used to go with. She moved to Florida, so I don't go anymore. There was one time somebody thought that I was this man who was a porn star who was very famous, all because I had my hat on backwards. Okay. And I will never forget this. I'm at the slot machine and she walks up to me and she's like, "Are you Mr. blah, blah, blah?" And before I could say anything, I heard a voice saying, "Not all black people look alike." And I turned.
Oh, the real one was there.
He's buff. He's a big dude. I turned around, and the funny thing is, we oddly do look alike, though. We oddly do. Like, it was a hat, though. It was a hat.
Sorry, I don't want to dox your job. Well, okay, you don't. You just get around. It's fair. You get around to a lot of fascinating people and places. Can you please write your memoirs down? I would like to read them.
It's cheating. It's cheating where I live. Like, it's cheating. I've met too many people.
At Derillo at
Walmart. At Walmart. I apparently hung out with Josh Duhamel and didn't know it until that soccer mom walked up to me and she's like, "How much weed are you smoking? Because you have smoked your brains away. What is wrong with you? Do you know who you're talking to?" He was just a nice dude and he dressed like a hobo. Speaking of which, I need to start selling my clothes to these kids because Jason Derulo was dressed like me. And I guarantee you he paid a lot of money for the coat he was wearing. And it was just a bunch of patches on a bomber jacket.
And did you see how crappy those seams were? You were like, I could have sewed those seams nicer.
You know I'm blind, but my eyes were like, oh, look at that. I could, like, bro, come to my house. I'll hook you up, bro. Like, I know you got
that
cash.
custom measured. That those sleeves are too long. The fit's not quite right. Let me just fix that, honey.
I'll show you pictures tomorrow during the live stream if I can figure it out. But like, and because I Googled him and he's all buff in his pictures. I'm bigger than he is.
The magic of camera angles.
I'm bigger. I'm bigger than he is, and I'm not a giant dude. He's a little bit taller, but he was rail thin. Like he was, and you know, as a skinny person, I'm not talking trash. I'm just saying because I googled him and I'm like, ooh, bro, you look buff. Like I can't. I was sitting in the parking lot. I'm like, ooh, you did not look like that as you did in your pictures, bro.
I know, but before we have to take into account before a photo shoot or a big thing, they've like water deprived them, starved themselves for like how many days, worked out to get a big pump,
Yep.
the lighting, the oil, the Photoshop. So like, yeah.
And that really buff body is unsustainable.
There is a well, watch. I like Greg Doucette. His is sustainable, but he's found a way. Plus, it's doable. It's just not that false like Nick Walker, Chris Bumstead, like huge all the time. No, it not unless you're sustaining it with drugs. Oh God, Sewing at the Arnold Classic. That would be. I dream of doing the fitness division there or the amateur Olympia, but I've not been training enough, and my muscles, my 6-pack is like a 2-pack right now of my upper abs.
The only Olympics I probably qualify right now are the high time Olympics. I don't know if my lungs can
Aren't
hold
those
up.
coming up soon?
I could win in the J rolling contest and the one-handed, like, it's cheating with me at this point. I have it down to a science. You know what's so funny? That was like my grandfather's thing. He would always be like, you're going to be in the Olympics one day. And I didn't have the heart to tell him I started smoking at 13, like 12-ish.
We just weren't that. I don't know. Sports was not that pushed. But then I played violin and was afraid of hurting my fingers because I thought I was going to do that as my career. And it's like ball hand sports are an occupational hazard under those conditions.
I think it's oppressive to force kids to play sports. Like, I wanted to play sports as a kid, and I would see kids that just were completely disconnected the entire time because their parents just needed a place to drop them off.
Yeah, well, in which case, you need to find the sport that the kid actually wants to do. Like,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not so much that the sports are bad, but you got to meet the kid where they're at. Maybe their sport is chess, or maybe it's lacrosse, or rugby, or whatever.
Like,
Gymnastics.
I'm gonna, they just opened up a jiu-jitsu place by my house. I'm gonna sign Isaiah up before it closes because those places come and go around here.
Yeah, right.
And all that Muay Thai and all that stuff is just popular right now.
Well, yeah, well, MMA, it all feeds into the MMA circuit.
They like in the valley. When I go to the dispensary, there's what's called Old San Fernando Valley. It's like a strip where they have like an original J.C. Penney's from the 1950s. Like it's Art Deco. It's actually really beautiful. But a lot of those shops have been bought out, and there are nothing but studios. So you see little kids out there, and I think there's nothing wrong with teaching kids how to defend themselves. But in my day, it was boxing. Everybody wanted to be a boxer. And now everybody wants to be an MMA fighter.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's hard to watch all those sports. Why does everything have to be on pay-per-view? Like, you have to pay. You can't even watch a fight anymore without shelling out extra dough. Unless you go to Rumble and watch slap fighting.
If I told you how much money I just paid for hockey, you'd be like, what? Because I pay for extra channels on my cable. Because I went through and see, this is what I don't get. Like, right now, I have TSN at my house, and they show Canadian commercials for places I've never heard of on there. Like, Tim Hortons is nowhere near my house.
No,
Am I
it's
gonna not be able to
oh, Timmy Hose, don't make me miss home.
But like, am I not going to be able to watch that anymore? Are they going to take it off my cable? Like, because I pay money for that. If it gets taken off, I'm going to need a heavy discount.
It's not an issue with Americans watching Canadian content. It's the Canadian government and the CTRC saying, you're not showing enough whatever we deem to be Canadian, and you're not. Part of it is that they want to take money from the independent content creators. So it's a monopolistic, tyrannical, forcing folks of lack of choice in media and divergent voices. You're stuck with the CBC and we're like, this is the story we're going to tell. Shut up. Don't argue with us. That you will open your mouth, open your ears, and take our bullshit propaganda, and that's all we're giving you. Have a nice day. Bye.
Do they have Tim Hortons in PA, Kilroy? Do you know why? When I think of Tim Hortons, I think of the ads on the hockey rings. So I watch a lot of. So it'll. It just reminds me of Canada in general.
Oh, I'm sorry, Killer. My doctor growing up forbade sports for all of his child patients because he believed it did more harm than good. See, I think it depends, because now we've got a whole generation, 2 generations of like morbidly obese kids who are going to get type 2 diabetes before their age of 20 and die of congestive heart failure at like 35. So I have some problems with that, but single sport specialization and the selling kids on the dream that they are going to be a professional basketball player, football player from the age they're 5, and the overuse injuries, I have huge issue with. Sport is supposed to be fun, and because your heart is the most important muscle in your body, you should do, not medical advice, your 150 minutes of cardio every week, just to have fun and get out and to be able to get up off the floor when you drop your sewing pins. Hey, Skits, or
Hey! Sorry. Do you know Alibaba? You know, I know you're joking, but it's going to be a scary world when Canadian YouTubers really do have to sell New Brunswick or Quebec. Every time they talk.
They would love to unload. We were like, please take these weirdos.
Oh, by the way, I am not associated with any kind of Bitcoin in any way, shape, or form. If you see anything that has me to do with that scam, it is not me. I'm not even well versed on that. I still read books. I still write in journals. I'm an analog human being, okay?
I took my notes and sketches on paper.
Yeah, right. I have a sketchbook too, which I don't know what I did with it. I have a new one. Like the only digital footprint I have are the ones that you see. Like you'll know it's me because my Dunning-Kruger picture is up there for a reason.
Oh, Timmy Ho, 17 miles from your house. That's a long way to get coffee and donuts, but
it's crazy to me. That's just it's just crazy to me because when I think of it, I think of Canada. Because a long time ago, I went from Vancouver to Saskatoon, so I have an image of my mind. But like I always laugh when people go to Mexico and they see an AM/PM there and a McDonald's and a and a Burger King and they're like, wait a minute, what is this stuff doing? It's globalization. We all like because of social planning, it all kind of looks the same after a while.
All right, fair, Kilroy. Honestly, with all the locals, with how all of the local sports teams were, he was right for our local area. They were managed very poorly and resulted in loads of injuries. Yeah, that's a separate issue. Bob and Doug McKenzie.
No, I'm thinking of Doug Ford. Which one was the crack smoking mayor of Toronto?
Doug McKenzie. This is the Diagolon guy who. Oh, that whole. The reasons that he was in jail for almost a year is so stupid. He has a couple of. Viva Fry interviewed him a couple of times.
I'll be right back. Coffee's.
And a great interview that he did yesterday was with Joanna. What's her handle is Unlearn16. I think she's on TikTok, and I don't know what other platforms, but as a 20-year veteran school teacher in Ontario, it was a really great discussion yesterday that they had. Go to Rumble to watch the full thing. Rumble, you better start being nice because I'm shilling for you, even though it took me 8 times to get my live stream set up over there. Again, it really took off though. Yeah, what they did to the no Doug Ford's brother. Oh yeah, and the way that they misrepresented the whole on the trucker convoy and what they were actually doing, their actual tenants versus the way the CBC spun it is just like state-run propaganda machines at its finest. I'm just over it. It's just creepy and scary. Like, it's why so many of our families left Europe and we're like, hey, the country we thought that was going to be our savior is just as bad, if not worse, as the tyranny that we've left. I'm not cool with this. Rob Ford was the crack-smoking mayor. Okay. And he's not here. He'll catch up in the chat shortly. That was Freya Frufers standing in front of the camera because she does that. Oh my gosh, vet bills. Even for a healthy visit, I chunked down a good amount of cash to get these cats a checkup over this week.
Pets are so expensive. If you knew how much money we spent on the Chihuahua, I used to look at the dog and be like, you know, for something that's less than 20 pounds, you've cost so much money.
I know.
Oh, I miss Lulu. She was the yappiest dog. That dog lived for almost 14 years. And it was a really, it was half Min Pin, half Chihuahua. And the guy lied and was like, you know, if you ever get anything for free, just know it's not for free.
Yeah, no, nothing is ever free.
And he said, oh, this dog's going to be a teacup. And the dog had, like, Lulu's legs just got longer and longer and longer.
The Min Pin part of hers, like, and we're not dead yet, sucker. Oh, that's funny. Okay. Oh, speaking of notes, I managed to actually journal today for the first time in months. My mind's clearer than it has been, so I'm taking that for a win. Congratulations. Yeah, good work. I've not, like, properly journaled in ages, but I do a lot of sketches and notes because
Kilroy, that's my national pastime. That's what saved me throughout my 20s from going completely mentally insane, is that I journaled the entire time. Journaling is amazing. I encourage it. Journaling, I'm looking for my notes because I recently started doing it again, and I don't know why I stopped in the first place. To say the honest truth, I don't know why. And it encourages you, that conversation in your head, you know?
It does, and there's something about, like, holding a nice pen. Like, why do Mont Blanc pens need to be, like, stupid expensive? Because I love the feel of a nice, beautiful fountain pen.
I'm so
bougie. I'm like the 15th century bougie ass white girl.
Same. Where is my journal? I am so mad. Where is my compass? I buy really inky pens. Really, like, if my hand strikes it, it's like my hand's blue. So I know what you're saying. I love really inky. Oh, it's right here because I'm a geek. Check out my pen. But I journal like a crazy person, and I take notes for everything.
Yeah,
it's important. It's important to have that conversation.
It is, and a nice pen just makes it so much better.
Let's see. I already talked about the bikers. That was weird. That was really weird, walking into a room of over 100 men, and I was considered the elder.
Right.
I feel like it was a win for the entire LGBTQIA plus community because I walked in and I was considered the tough guy, and only if they knew. But also in the same sense, it made me feel old as hell. It made me feel like dirt, old as dirt.
I know, because we've been walking the earth since dinosaurs roamed.
But like, you know my age. We are.
I do.
And so
We're ancient. We've roamed the earth since dinosaurs.
it made me freaking feel all these like bikers were like, hey, that guy's an OG, that guy's an OG, and I'm like, no sir, I am not. I've just made it here.
I managed to not die on the road yet. Oh, I journaled on my typewriter. I had Wu-Tang going in the background.
Damn right.
So it was really half writing instrument and half percussion instrument. That must have the tactileness. That's good. Bought a cup. Oh, you bought Skits has counterfeit Mont Blancs from the dark web. Oh, oh man.
What? Do you know, like, I've never gone on the dark web, and I made Isaiah promise that he wouldn't like order a human hand and get it sent to the house. I'm serious. Because one day we're in the car, I'm like, oh, I've never been on the dark web. He looks at me all serious. He's like, I've been on it. I almost crashed. I said, look, we have rules. It looks like I don't have rules, but we have rules. You
right. If you know how to get onto Torrid and I don't, we have a problem. You need to sit down and show me so I know how to block this from your computer.
I'm waiting for that day that I get that visit for the men in the black suits or the men with the white suits.
Oh, all right. That'll be something happy. Thinking of black suits, I went back and we started rewatching The Sandman again because we read most of the graphic novels because my human and I we've been doing it for a long time. We get up, we drink our coffee, and I get read. A human reads to me while I do a crafty project, which is how I work myself into my day. And for a while, the Seattle Public Library, King County, was the best because they had all of the graphic novels and you could just do the interlibrary loan stuff. So I've read most of them, but I have not read all of them. But I do vicariously know one of the illustrators.
That makes me miss the Portland Library. I spent many a times in is it Multnomah County?
I think so.
I get that confused with Arizona because Maricopa and Multnomah sound very... Yes, it is Multnomah because Maricopa is Arizona.
Yes, because Carrie Lake would correct you quickly. A person I know just got home with a Singer 68 red eye and a number 30 library table treadle electric with the original Singer swing away motor. Oh my gosh, the transition of if the power goes out, you can still treadle, but if you're bougie enough to have electricity, you can plug us in. I'm 110% sure I'm on many lists, and my personal FBI agent is drinking heavily, trying to.
Same. You know, it's really funny. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was going to say, when you know people who have varying levels of security, and for my job, the number of times I've been fingerprinted, just show me the list, please. I'm curious as to which ones I'm on.
I've said crazy stuff online, so I wouldn't be surprised if I'm not on a watch list. But I say like revolutionary stuff, like, could you imagine if we all stopped fighting each other? Like, I always say, like, could you imagine if we all stopped fighting each other and pointed our anger towards the people who actually controlled things? Like, that'll get you put on a list. That'll get you put on a list real quick.
Seriously, that's my quote of the week from Robert Barnes. Populism is popular. So can we just make populism popular again?
Like I said in the beginning of the stream, like, I've been so over politics lately that I have just hidden in my hole, but politics find me there as well.
I'm still Team Afroman. Everybody else is a douchebag.
I don't even know who's running for what or anything. I am so tuned out. I watched the coronation just because I've like I'm a bit of an Anglophile, but ever since the pandemic, I would just sit there and watch Sky News after 11 o'clock at night. Like, that is what I would watch. And so first off, I talked about this earlier. First off, it amazed me how many people got arrested. If you want to see the death of freedom, watch how many people got arrested just for thinking about protesting against the king. Literally 5 miles away. Do you know, we complain in America, but that would never happen in America. We have the right to stand on a street corner and scream like an idiot.
Yeah, but then how many people are still in prison for the J6 stupidness without due process?
I agree. If you don't get processed, then you shouldn't be in jail. I agree with you. That is, I had a friend
I've got issues with that.
who got lost in paperwork. He did 9 months in jail. And when he got out, the county gave him a check and they were like, "Oh, we're so sorry." And he was like,
Right,
"What?"
that's appropriate reparations. that
He was
human
like,
deserves
"What?"
that money.
Whoa. Oh, I'll never forget that. He showed up. He was like, "I don't know if I'm happy about it," but they gave him a fat check too because they held him for a while. And like,
Yeah.
there's like a method to it. For every like hours that you're there, they have to pay you.
Okay. Yeah, so 9 months was a big fatty check.
Oh, he got a fatty check. He's only supposed to be there for 2
2 months or 2 days?
2 months.
Okay, so still. Liz needs another typewriter. Kilroy watched the highlights of the coronation. What a waste of time and money. Fair. Nearly fell asleep
People,
as soon as Westminster got to the...
it's the same old stuff because there were like I watch a lot of British stuff and people were calling into radio shows and they were like, "Do you realize people are starving 20 minutes from where this guy is getting crowned? Like they're spending hundreds of millions of dollars on this and they can't feed their own." Like right now, the average person in the UK is going to food banks. They call it heating or eating. They can't afford to eat or heat their house. And I don't know if you've ever been there, but it gets cold.
It does.
Yeah.
So, even in the summer when I was there, it was cold. Italy was much nicer, or the beaches in Nice.
Oh gosh.
Can I go back to Nice?
So the UK is they're going down. It's actually really sad. Like it's really sad what they've turned into. So it was interesting to see the disparity of what's going on with their people and then to see this massive pomp and circumstance. And I can't remember the MP's name, but she came in full Roman regalia.
All right,
that's what I
a
said.
Different kind of a flex.
That's what I said. But the UK can't even scuttle a navy. They can't stop people from coming into their country on banana boats. So
no, not anymore.
They're like, it's just the whole to see what they project themselves as and what they really are is scary because as human beings we lie to ourselves. And we'll like when people were literally like, "Oh, we're subjects of the monarchy." What? Your country is dying and you're celebrating this guy.
Oh, I legit saw a picture of the gold carriage going over the roads with potholes filled by sand. Oh, yeah. Yeah,
it's unreal. It's unreal what's going on in the UK right now.
It's all over though. Europe, the whole of Europe. Don't even get me started about that whole Wagner group in Bachmont. That everything is fudged. And Germany getting rid of all of their power sources, so then they were like literally cutting down wood for heating. Like, we're in one of the guys from the Duran had to send his family out of London, and he was like streaming in a half dark room because he barely had any power.
Oh yeah, they do rolling blackouts as well. Like just like normal. Like they're like, okay, we have rolling blackouts now. That's like a wartime thing when you're trying to save power.
Right.
I don't think people realize this. Like even I'm not trying to get too hardcore into it, but I think like in America we have checkpoints. DUI checkpoints. I think it's un-American. That's wartime. A checkpoint is a wartime procedure. Yeah. And it didn't even it wasn't even part of policing until after World War II.
Right. Well, we had to keep those Japanese in their internment camps.
But I don't know about anywhere else in California, when they have a checkpoint, they have to announce it. So it's not like the cops are hiding.
Right. I didn't watch any of it. But speaking of, okay, did anybody see some of the Doja Cat's outfit from the Met Gala on Monday with her prosthetic cat nose?
Okay, I'm glad we're here. Okay.
I was like, I need something funny. I was like, we talked about too much depressing stuff.
Doja Cat, I don't know. Okay, she showed up at a fashion show red, looking like a Doctor Who character. She showed up blue, looking like a Doctor Who character.
She was just sad she failed her audition for the Blue Man Group.
She's not tall enough. I'm not tall enough. I think I like her fashion sense. Some of it, see, the problem is like some of these people have more money than we'll ever see. And Skits, I agree with you. Papers, please. Some of these people have more money. So they will they'll wear things like, I think it's crazy when people wear Louis Vuitton suits. I would be scared to drink coffee in my Louis Vuitton t-shirt or my suit or something that costs $1,000 for a sweater, you know?
Yeah. Or speaking Little Nas's ex's like glass mirrored whatever.
That was glass?
I don't know what it was. It was just it was glass. It was just sparkly and reflective, so it makes me think of mirrors, but I don't actually know what that was.
I like Doja Cat's this year's theme was Karl Lagerfeld, for anyone who didn't know. I like Doja Cat's dedication. She reminds me of a human anime character. I have never heard of any of her music. I liked her. I like what she's got going on because she's thinking outside the box. Did you see Jared Leto?
Oh, it's the lawyer cat. Yes.
He came as freaking sushi. He came as a cat. He came as a cat.
See, I'm too hooked up in the law tube because there was the lawyer from during the pandemic who, on his Zoom call, his camera went off and he was a cat and he was terrified. So Emily D. Baker was like, "Oh, it's lawyer cat. Lawyer cat was at the Met Gala."
I love that video. I'm too addicted to the Goodwill to buy a fancy suit. Same.
You might find a fancy suit at certain Goodwills, though. So
you will.
They're not mutually exclusive.
But like when I see people wearing, like, there's this one pastor. I'll get into it later, but his name's Bishop Lamont. He got robbed live on camera.
Oh, the fake staged robbery. So that Bill Gates. That guy's a farce hole.
He recently got indicted. He got what was coming to him. He wears real clothes. Like his closet is probably worth as much as my house. Like his suits, and he has a new suit on every day.
Because he was flexing $1 million worth of jewelry when he got robbed. That staged robbery. Plus, what was the other thing that he ripped off? Was supposedly paying people's mortgages and not, or something. There's some other financial malfeasance he was involved in.
Oh, Skits, that was the greatest video of all time. When I'm having a bad day, I watch stuff like that. I do. Like if I'm really depressed, because that stuff makes me fall on the ground laughing. Like, we know you're not a cat, bro. Oh, I love that video.
It was so sweetly terrifying. I'm sure, Alibaba, I'm sure you've seen fancy suits at the thrift store.
I've just never seen like Louis Vuitton or at least at the one I go to.
No, me neither. I know that Martha Stewart used to own a house here, but she didn't leave any of her home goods. But when Jim Belushi's ranch, everything that he might have is probably impregnated with marijuanas because he's got a huge dope grow around here.
Oh yeah, he's smoky. He is smoky McSmoke.
Oh yes.
I followed him on YouTube for a while, but then I just got jealous and had to unsubscribe. I was like, no, bro, You are living the dream. I can't even watch this anymore. You are living the dream. Get out of here. Get out.
Stop flaunting your closets full of marijuana.
He would just be smoking it and someone a long time ago, someone told me, they're like, dude, you live in smoke heaven. Because I'm always smoking. But what they don't know is that I don't like when I'm on stream, I come and sit down and I'm like, I'm gonna smoke my face off. But I'm all day long, I'm not smoking. Jim Belushi is in smoke heaven. And I am jealous. I am man enough to admit it. I unsubscribed because I was like, I am so jealous.
Right, yeah, the Emerald Triangle isn't necessarily Humboldt and whatever. It's the Rogue Valley.
Oh, for real, it's changed. It has. It has. So Bishop Lamont's a weenie. I liked Doja Cat's thing. Let's see. Jared Leto was a cat. Do you know who Ice Spice is?
No.
She's famous. Oh no, Jim Belushi smokes his face off. John Belushi, I still watch a lot of his stuff and cry. She is famous for having a big butt. She's the new Kim Kardashian. Her music is not something I would be into, but she's just the new it girl.
Okay.
I really liked her outfit because it was classic Karl Lagerfeld. I'm trying to think because I've watched a few videos on it, and so I should be well versed on this. What is it? So Stressed or Seem Stressed?
See, I know I haven't watched her recap yet. I saw it just came out before I started. She's so funny.
I love her, and I'm so glad I brought it up because I resubscribed to her. So last year she lost it over Kim Kardashian, okay? And a lot of people said that Kim Kardashian
use it over that dress what's the thing? The museum that's not a museum should never.
Ripley's.
Yes, they're not even a well curated. They don't even know how to manage their collection. From what it sounds like.
But Kim Kardashian, a lot of people. It was rumored that she wasn't allowed there, and she was. A lot of people were like, "Oh, she's banned because of last year."
No, the court of public opinion wants her banned. She can fight her way into anything.
But she showed up at this really it's just a $1 million dress or whatever, and so Seem Stressed was like, well, at least she's not destroying some classic dress, some timeless dress, Right. It had me dying. It had me dying because it's true. At least she's not destroying a museum piece,
Right.
My thing is, I am not I love the fashion, but I'm not pro fame anymore. So Lil Nas X, to me, if you live in LA and you are a grown man, you'll know that Lil Nas X is a hoe and stay away from him if you don't want to catch monkeypox.
Digital herpes. He's got the digital herpes.
And I'm not, you know what? Come find me, bro. I'm not even gonna say allegedly. I travel in certain circles of black men just like you. You are a hoe. Stay away. You are a hoe.
My friends know where you've been, and they've been to the clinic way too many times this week, honey.
And not even the fun hoe. He's the complicated one.
Oh.
I can't wait for the Kardashians to be washed up and forgotten. We spent way too much time on them. I agree.
What is it going to take, though? What's the...
They own the ends to the means now. So they own the ends to production. They no longer have to be like, oh, are we going to be on your show? They own the network. That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem,
Mm-hmm.
A long time ago, and this is so long ago, my ex-wife and I argued over the television so much that we had 2 different cable boxes in the house. And I literally would go on the other side of the house and watch TV because she was obsessed with the Kardashians. And how old is my son? 13. 14 years ago, Chris Humphries looked Kim Kardashian in the eye and was like, what are you going to do when you're not famous anymore? And she didn't have an answer. He's like, no one's going to remember you 10 years from now, 20 years from now. No one's going to remember you. And he's considered a winner because he broke off from that family. with no major damage.
Mhm.
But he told her the truth. Like you're popular now, but like fame is fleeting. That's why these young kids like save your money, man. Save your money, bro. Because
Yeah.
you're not gonna be famous 10 years from now. I agree, Kilroy. Do you know when I get on a certain freeway, we now call it we call the Ronald Reagan freeway, we call it the Kardashian freeway. Because it takes you straight to her house or to the beach if you're into that kind of thing.
I could go to the beach. I'm always into that.
Well, there's a certain freeway and it like Calabasas area, you have to be super rich. I had a friend whose mom lived over there. We went to Johnny Rockets. Okay, I was a little kid. I turned around, and you know what? Still to this day, I love this man because he was so nice to me. I met Jaleel White, and like I was obviously stuck out because I was with all Caucasian people. I was the only person of color, and he walked up to me, and I was like, "Hey!" and he gave me a hug.
Aw.
I'm telling you, like, if whenever I see that Urkel weed, I buy it. And I'm not even joking. I love that man. I will support him in all his endeavors. He didn't even have to be nice to me. He was super famous back then because his show was on TV forever. And he was nice to me. But you have to be rich to be on that side of town. Like, that's where that's the kind of place where you go to the grocery store and you see someone like, you'll see like Kurt, like, you know, like, you'll see, what's her face? Who married? Oh, you'll see Catherine Zeta-Jones. You'll see Will Smith. You'll see like they all live on that side of town. We call it the West Side for a reason.
But not the best side.
No, that like when I see Will Smith trying to get all Black Power, I'm like, bro, I wouldn't even be able to walk in your neighborhood. Shut up. Stop talking. Like, stop talking right now.
Yeah, I think his star is setting. Actually, it set last year when he made some poor choices for a woman.
He is very much not tolerated as much as he used to be. He was the king of LA.
Right, but if he's got this false person, like if he's putting up friends to be something that he's not and travels with gentlemen, then just in this day and age, just open up and be honest with yourself about who you are. You don't need to hide it anymore.
That's not your producer, bro. We know it's your boyfriend. No one travels with their producer. That he's like, oh, this is my travel assistant. No. I said this last week on a live stream. I don't know if it was yours or mine. If I'm traveling with a man for 9 months, we're dating. We're not. We are not. Oh, no. You are not allowed to be even that close to me unless we're dating.
Not for that long of a period of time. Right. And I mean, I guess Johnny Depp has a different thing with his bodyguards, but they love him. His people, he seems so nice to them.
Gilroy, the Urkel weed is top shelf, and that's when you see me in here like with my eyes closed, like that stuff was on sale. It's good stuff. That stuff is dank. And he did bring the character back to get rich, and it worked. Him and Snoop Dogg started selling Urkel weed.
Oh, Snoop Dogg.
He did throw his career, and his wife smeared. Do you know they recently canceled Red Table Talk, and it wasn't because of Will Smith and Jada Smith. It was the YouTube television is going to go away. What ruined Will Smith was his wife telling their business on Freak to the World. It was the cringiest. She's worse than Gwyneth Paltrow. I'll say it.
Goop is the poop.
Goop is gross.
Yeah, it is. That's such much better alliteration. And oh my god, that human just needs to eat food. There's folks who might need nutrient IVs during certain circumstances, but as a replacement for food because you have an eating disorder, we've got issues. Oh, here. Do you have something to say? Because that's a good segue to my next bitching point.
Really quickly, every time, as somebody who's been skinny his entire life, every time I see Gwyneth Paltrow, I scream, somebody needs to get her a freaking banana or a bag of carrots. She scares me. Like she's scared. And I've been skinny my whole life, and I eat like a horse. she needs like an orange or something.
She needs an orange Julius and a donut.
No, she scares me. She looks sallow.
She is. Yeah. So YouTube's got this new policy that they are anti-promoting different eating disorders, but it seems like they're only against the anorexic and the bulimia, like the restrictive classic ones, but you can be fat and mukbang, and they're like, yeah, we'll let that pass, but that's still an eating disorder.
It's funny that you would say that because there's a YouTuber that I watch where that's part of her content, and all her videos have huge warnings now, and like even when you're scrolling
Are you watching Michelle McDaniels?
No, I'm watching Of Herbs and Altars.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Dorian. It's a he. His name is Dorian, but
they have attacked his channel. They have, because now I've been subscribed to them as long as I can remember, since I first got on YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder how hunger pangs don't make them lose their minds. Okay, actually I have an answer to this. I may or may not be a human from personal experience that I've learned over time in my world of interacting with humans and maybe some personal things. Folks are either emotional eaters or emotional not eaters. And sometimes the act of feeling hungry and having that control is oddly soothing to your nervous system in a way that if you're not an emotional not eater, I don't know how to explain it, but it's just kind of calming and peaceful, which I know might not make any, if you're not like that, it probably doesn't make sense.
I'm an emotional eater. I check myself though. There are certain compulsive habits I have where I'm like, is this just, are you hungry or are you just emotionally responding to something? Because ever since I quit smoking, I've noticed that when certain emotions happen, I'm like, I'm gonna go make freaking a waffle breakfast right now at 11 o'clock at night for no reason. But really,
that might just be the remnants of your oral fixation, though. Too.
I have a binge eating problem. Like I won't eat all day and then I'll binge eat. But I think the average person has an eating disorder. I'm gonna tell you, like, especially in the box, in the
Allie wants your goldfish very badly. There's been fighting words laid down.
So there was a sale today because the little package cost $4. These were on sale for $8. So I grabbed this giant thing today. And plus, I need to admit to myself I have a problem because I'll buy a bag of goldfish and eat the whole bag in one sitting. So I feel those
are things I don't keep in my house for certain things, but now I can spoil myself and go and get a $10 bag at lesser price of fancy Japanese Lay's potato chips.
I love the purple Urkel. Liz, where you live, they probably sell the purple Urkel all over the place in Portland.
See, I thought that was just a joke. I didn't realize that was real.
Oh no, and it's dank. It is dank. He's smart. He's smart. Like he put his name on something. He's smart, and like there are certain things that don't need commercials, and weed is one of them.
Right. So you just have to wash your hands in sewing machine oil to get all the terps off. And that is the big box. We can't even find those sizes here. Oh, Canada's just trying to look out for you. Canada's got you. Canada's just trying to save you.
When New York did that, I actually went off where I was like, you know what? That's un-American. In America, you have the right to eat yourself into oblivion. You have the right to whether I see, but I'm a bad example because I'm skinny and I have the metabolism of a hummingbird. I can't stop moving. And so even when I gained 50 pounds and I still am thin compared to the average person,
Yeah, no, when
So
you're as short as I am, 50 pounds makes a difference. And I can't. But see, that's my family was designed to survive the famine. We look at food, you're 20 pounds heavier. There's humans I see who are my height, maybe a little taller, but they either don't eat enough or don't naturally grow muscle mass. Unfortunately, I grow muscle mass and then it gets covered with flabs, so I would rather just see my cute muscles.
I think that's so funny. In Canada, do you guys have 40-ounce sodas? I can go to any convenience store, even my local grocery store, and get a soda the size of my head. Like this cup is 40 ounces.
Are you serious?
Yeah, we've had this conversation.
Oh, that's true.
It's the size of my face. It's huge. The spatial perception is awful because see
It
how
is,
big it is?
that's
This cup
40
is
ounces liter of fluid. That's like my water bottle size. And if I drink that much, my model has, somebody put the bladder of a squirrel. I've got squirrel bladder, and that hurts me.
For some reason, when I drank, I had squirrel bladder. I drank like a fish, but I'd have to pee every 20 minutes.
I do that with water. It doesn't matter what I'm drinking. Fluids just make me pee.
We have. Oh wow, man. If I can't have a big Bubba cup in my freaking tractor, it's not America.
I only buy tractors if my 80-ounce canister of Slurpee fits in the cup holder. If it doesn't, I need a better tractor.
When I go to 7-Eleven, I'm like, who is drinking a 70-ounce freaking cup? Like those big Bubbas have gotten ridiculous.
Foodie beauty, but she's in Kuwait now with her new man. I wish I got the gene that was meant to survive the potato famine. Instead, I have a very difficult time putting on weight and keeping it on. Yeah, you're like my human. They eat whatever they want and don't show it. I had a wine glass that would hold a whole bottle.
Damn right. Damn right.
44 ounce, I think, is a bit bigger than the large here, 1 liter. Yeah, because 1 liter is about 40 ounces.
That's why when I get up and run.
Better.
So when you see me get up and run, that's like the halfway point of the cup.
You're like, I have 22 ounces in here. We can't hold anymore. I thought the big Bubba cup was 92. I have no idea. I don't have a proper 7-Eleven where I live.
They've changed over the years, and it depends on what state you're in. When I went to Texas, it's real. Everything is bigger in Texas. Arkansas as well. And fun fact, hold on, let me get in Missouri, the average male lives to be 45 years old, and it's because of morbid obesity. I read it in National Geographic years ago. And I think the study was probably done in like 2015, 2016. So the average man in Missouri was morbidly obese and only lived to be like 40 something years old. And they all passed away because of health complications. It wasn't anything else but. So American food is scary.
Yeah, we need, that's, I think, one of the reasons we were talking about last week about watching TV. I hate being visually force-fed food commercials. It's dumb, and I don't like it. And, pharmaceutical commercials for that reason as well. There should not be direct marketing of new pharmaceuticals to the public. Hey, you're back.
Oh, I'm just playing around. I want to see. I'm just hitting buttons.
It's all good. I'm in a whole different state, Canada. Yes, you are in a whole different state.
I know.
The only thing that should come in 99 ounces is maple syrup jugs, please, and thank you.
I'm used to the Costco sizes. So if it's not like value size, I'm like, what is this abomination? What is this insult to my fatness?
I've never been to a Costco.
What?
I don't have a membership, and it's like 25 miles from here. Why do I want to drive all the way that far?
When Isaiah and I are bored, we go over there just to eat. because they have so many samples. Like you literally get full off their sample.
Fair, but I don't know. I've just been making a lot of Indian spiced foods because I know where the great Indian grocers are, and I might have a connection to the Indian food market or the Indian corner store market around here. I get special deals because I'm a special human. I know. I haven't watched regular TV in a while either, Killer. Oh,
I'm actually watching it
no.
right now.
I do watch Hulu though, so that's not really different. Maple syrup containers, they're all in liters. I know. America's dumb. Can we just adopt the metric system? Why have that I still have to remember it's 2.12 kilometers per mile. No, miles per kilometer and 2.2 pounds per kilo is stuff that's like ingrained into my brain. Because drug
There's a
math.
Wu-Tang song. Well, it's a Ghostface Killer song. It's kilo is 1,000 grams. It's easy to remember. He gives
It
you a
is.
whole math lesson.
So we get a math lesson. Brilliant. Yes, this is how we measure our marijuanas in kilos, not in pounds, kids.
The album is called Fish Scales, and this is a non this is what do they call it? Oh, a non-paid endorsement, but it's a great
Right,
album.
we have no sponsors, so if some marijuana company would like to sponsor us, hit me up in my DMs. I mean, no, I don't do marijuana.
There was this young rapper where like in one of his videos he kept on having this one dispensary, and then I found out he's sponsored by a dispensary, and I'm like, can I get a dispensary to sponsor me and my sewing?
Right?
Can I get my local? They love me over there. I'll start a hockey team just so they can like sponsor me.
You just have to ask them. I'm like, how much? What's the perks for paid sponsorships? 454 grams in a pound. I don't know the grams per pound. That's good.
I actually know grams well. I have a scale literally underneath me.
All of my measures are both in metric and imperial. I know when I'm sewing, I do inches, but when I do weights and measures, I like metric better.
Do you know what's so funny? When I watch the British ladies, because I am addicted to watching British women sewing, I'm with them until they do the measurements. And then it's literally like like over my head where I'm like, well, I'll make it to my size. But it's literally just a conversion, but
yeah, it's easy. And you just
nobody
flip your measuring tape over and be like, oh, okay, this is what it is in the units I understand.
ain't nobody got time for that.
Oh, interesting. A lid is an ounce, and those are 28 grams unless you get nice and they give you 30. Fair. I think about ounces in fluids, which is 30 mils. I thought, unless I've been lied to.
Okay, well, let me do my math. Is it a quarter is 7 grams, a half is 14?
Half an ounce.
It's been so long.
See, that's
because I go to the dispensary and I'm like, I want one of those and 2 of those. That's
right. But fluid weights is a little bit different than the circus sponsored by Eat Like a Horse and Sleep Like the Dead Weed. Oh God, no! I do not eat like horses around here. My human does. Oh God,
I do,
you guys, you folks are cracking me up tonight. Thank you. I hope I didn't depress everybody's Sunday night.
Oh no, this is an awesome stream. And for all my enemies, I literally sleep like this. I sleep so well. I wake up refreshed every morning.
I sleep like a starfish in a sleeping bag. For what that's worth.
Do you know what's so funny? I saw this thing and I sleep with my socks on, okay? And I saw this thing and I do any weather. It could be 150 outside. I sleep with socks on. I'm weird.
Yeah,
I
it's
saw
a,
this thing that said it's a Mexican stereotype.
I learned to too, but I realized I keep warmer because I get so cold.
I'm one of those weird people. Like I don't know. I have an elevated body temperature, so I sleep with my socks on. I'm a warm bodied human being.
I'm cold blooded just like my heart, so I also need socks. I'm part reptilian. I need to sun myself in a place where I won't get sunburned.
Oh, don't say that around Isaiah. He just got introduced to that stupid stereotype of like reptilian people, and I had to tell him that they're not real.
No, that's not true. You know we were all descended from alien reptile people. Don't don't kill the dream of Normanism. This is probably one of the main basic tenets.
See, but okay, but if you really think about it, we're a sum total of everything we've ever come up with. He literally grew up watching Stargate, Star Trek. I was in this really weird phase of my life where I watched Stargate every day for like 8 years. Because I was so depressed with the world. I was like, no, I'm just gonna watch Stargate, Star Trek. Like he grew up. Still to this day, when he hears the Star Trek theme song, he stops what he's doing.
Aw. Did you make him watch Spaceballs yet?
Yes, of course. I love that stinking movie. They show it on TV here a lot. They show it on TV here a lot.
How about what's oh shit, I'm gonna forget that other movie that there was like three of them with the robot who ran on a triangle track. Shit. Chat's gonna help me out. Chat's gonna save me. Let's see here, Kilroy. I'm a damn blast furnace. It was 54 out today, and I had the window open because apparently, if it gets over 70 in the house, I start to get really uncomfortable. You are a blast furnace, human. We could blow glass on you.
I'm like that too. Like every ex I've ever had, it was like I'm impossible to sleep with because I roll in my sleep because I have issues. I have intense ass dreams. Apparently, I talk as well, and I'm a heater. I'm a literal heater.
I only do some of those things, but I used to kick my sis. We would go to my grandparents' house. We would share a bed, my sister and I would always like kick her in my sleep. I am a terrible human to sleep next to.
Same.
I can live with humans, but we may need separate sleeping quarters.
Oh, I'm Lucy and Desi. I am that bad. And you know what? Anyone who ever wants to be in a relationship with me, I can prove it to you. One night you'll be like, I will never sleep in the same bed as you.
You're like, that's why I have the extra bedroom. We get together for the times we want to be together, and then there's the place where you sleep.
There's a science to that, and I'm not even trying to be sarcastic. Like my parents were absolutely in love with each other, but they worked together. So when they would come home from work, they would eat dinner, and then they would not speak to each other. They would go in separate rooms and wouldn't speak to each other until they went to bed.
There's nothing wrong with knowing when you need space. Like, that's a lot of time to spend with a human. Sometimes you just need some downtime.
They were smart, but because they separated from each other. They're like, okay, we're married. We live in the same house. You're on that side. Like, it's smart, though, because... And they were into very different things. You know?
You stop teasing me with these extra ketchup chips. I know it's a Canadian flavor, the all dressed. What did Kilroy say last week? They've got the all dressed in Pennsylvania. I've not tried these ones, but the squid ones are super good, as well as the hard boiled egg potato chips are really yummy. I know. But they're so good. They're so good.
I'm squeamish. You know what's so funny? I'll eat almost anything, but if it smells bad, you're going to know from me. I'm going to let you know right away. I can't do bad smells. I'll eat almost
It
anything.
doesn't smell bad. It just smells like, it doesn't even smell sulfury like bad eggs. Like, they're just yummy.
Like, I'm addicted to salt and vinegar chips, but sometimes when you open a bag, you get that whiff and you're like, ugh, but I'm addicted to them. You
Yeah,
know, so
salt and vinegar is a good one. Plus the dill pickle ones. Oh,
I don't think I'm allergic to certain dyes, so I have to be careful. Like certain spices, I'll wake up and my eye, like I'm Odin, where my eye is just swollen shut, you know.
yeah. Yeah, the squid ones are from Japan. They are super good. The prawn ones are also super nice. Oh, I know. I guess that I remembered that right. You guys do. You folks do have the all dressed in ketchup in PA.
What about
It's the snack
chocolate?
food. Well, that's true. I mean, you folks also have Hershey's. So
Exactly.
that's a place I didn't go to ever. Was the Hershey's theme park?
I
I
actually
know we're
watched
talking about food again.
I watched their hockey team. That's one of the reasons I cried to my cable company. I watched the Hershey, Pennsylvania Bears. They're
Oh,
part of the
the Hershey
package.
beers.
I, they're part of the package of the teams that I watch on. That's why when hockey season's over, I get this real depression because I'm like, I've been watching hockey for 10 months. I don't know what to do with myself. The
There's
playoffs are here.
nothing else on.
I'm already in a show hole. Like, because there are certain days when hockey's not on, and I'm like, holy cow, I need to invest in something else because this is all I watch on television.
The Cabinet of Curiosities on Netflix.
I need keep them coming. I have subscribed to everything that everybody says. I watch
It's on
all this stuff.
Netflix. Highly recommend it.
I have Netflix.
It was directed by or produced by Guillermo del Toro. A whole bunch of different short stories. So they're little. I It's not a serial. They're independent stories. What else was good? I mean, Sandman is good. Good Omens is good. What I've seen of it, those books were Good Omens. The book is so amazing. What else?
I'm putting something in the group chat before I forget.
Okay. I know dill pickles are the best. That's up there with this beaver Coney Island mustard. I think that is what McDonald's secret sauce is, but I think it might be sweet relish, which is I think it's because it's mixed with mustard is the only way I'm like, oh, this is good. But sweet relish, little sweet gherkins are food of the devil.
I was about to say, I have an addiction. I can eat a whole jar of those tiny pickles.
We've talked.
Oh.
I know.
Those are addicting. Those are.
Just leave me the dill ones, and you can have all the sweet ones, honey. Because I think those are poop.
I the other day when I made this giant thing of tuna. That's my meal prepping. I make taco meat and tuna, and then eat everything on tortillas all week long.
Oh no, I've been making dal like it's going out of style. But what is that? It's MDH spice blend boxes. They're an Indian import, and my Indian hookup is like, you just put some of this and then put some of this. So I just like throw random shit in with my lentils.
I'm like that too. Like there are certain recipes. If someone asked me, like, "Oh, how do you make this?" I'd be like, "You'd have to be standing there because I literally just put a pinch of this, snap my fingers in this. I yell at that."
Right. It depends on what's in the kitchen at the moment I'm making it, because it might not be the same the next time.
Some of these names on Twitter get me. I don't even want to say out loud the name of this person who followed me. I follow everyone back on Twitter too, even weird trolls. But like some of these names.
Sorry, Kilroy just keeps getting my attention. My pickled stuff addiction is sliced jalapeno peppers and hot yellow banana peppers. I could do that too.
I'm addicted to those as well. Pepperoncinis. And in the Hispanic culture, we call them chiles. Because everything is a chili. because it's a chili. It grows
Right.
as a
It
chili.
is technically, yes.
So they're extremely literal with it and they call it chili. All of them are called
Yep.
chili.
I get it. I know. If I ever say anything weird that doesn't make sense, just think about it. It's likely I'm being 100% literal. Like, I used to have some irises that were given to me in a box that were sitting outside, and I never transplanted them. So I just called them my box irises. People were like, "What's that?" And I'm like, "It's just what do the words mean?" And that's what I mean.
I feel like that with my cactus. I named my cactus Little D, but I finished that sentence when I call it because it was tiny when I got it. It was literally
Right.
this big, and now it's this big fat cactus in a pot. I really need to
I just
plant that thing.
here. I know my stapelia is growing really big, and the day that I got that, my human got, it's called a Sinencio, but the cultivar is a pickle plant, and it's green
Ooh.
and white. Like, it looks like pickles. It's cute. I always have to have jalapeno pickled. I grow them and pickle them. Yes. My garden, I have nothing in my garden yet. I need to get some starts because it's like 60 out right now, but it's supposed to be almost 90 at the end of the week. I'm so behind.
I got a weird jump this year because I like I said last year, I grew so much Mary that like it encouraged me to plant early this year.
Plant
But
early and often.
my grapes are already growing back. My chili pepper is thriving. Something ate it though, and to the raccoon, because you have to have thumbs to pick it off. I'm sorry. You have to have opposable thumbs to pick it off clean. I mean, it was picked off clean, and they didn't destroy the plant or anything.
Well, that poor raccoon probably had some spicy butthole the next day.
You had to have. When I put it in my salsa, I chop up one little chili and I chop it and I mix it in my salsa, and I am profusely sweating. I am like sweating out my eyeballs, I'm sweating out my ears. So I know that raccoon was
He was hurting the next day.
I think that thing must have drank a beer before it freaking found that. I don't know what the heck was wrong with it. I'm serious. That is the hot, like, because when for years, that it was the only thing that didn't get pilfered, and it's starting, something's eating it. So something has grown an immunity to my plant.
Something decided this is tasty.
But
So
cats, are not stupid.
no, they're not.
Skunks are also not stupid. And possums are so scary. I don't see a possum eating a chili pepper plant. I just don't.
No, they mostly eat mosquitoes and
That's
like
why I thought,
little
yeah.
things. They're smart.
Ticks. Oh yeah, ticks, big
Yep, all
time.
the bad creepy things. I'll live like yes, we're a whole bunch of we like hot spicy things around here. Maybe that's we like to bitch so and come and eat spicy things.
So yesterday in my insanity, after my thrifting and that whole thing with the bikers, which is still unreal to me. I thought it was gonna be a fight, and it was like literally like, oh, this guy's the elder. I'm like, no, I used to be cool, and now I'm considered Gandalf. But so I drove away, and I was like, I went to Burger King, and I sat in the parking lot, and I was like, I'm really considered. I had like a midlife crisis. I'm like, I'm really considered the old biker guy. So I went to Burger King, and in the hood, it is cheaper than where I live, and I was in the hood, like the real one. Where and it's the barrio on the Hispanic side of town, and I ordered this chicken sandwich, and it was like dipped in this spicy stuff. It was the greatest thing I've had all week. I don't know. It was a number 7. It was the greatest. I walked up, I was like, I want a number 7. I was hungry, and I ate it in my car, and I even pulled over. I was like, oh no, I'm going to enjoy this. It was good.
Oh, Ellie, that's funny. You had a squirrel that would eat the hot peppers, the seeds, the hottest part. Oh my god.
We do have squirrels around here too, and they're like acrobats and thieves.
Yes. All of the above.
We do have squirrels here, but we have so many other animals. The squirrels really don't come around anymore because everything else will mess with them. The cats don't play. Oh, that's so funny. I still want to know. I walked out the other night and the skunk spray was so strong that my eyes started watering. I want to know what animal got just doused. There's a
Right, because
smelly
it's too
cat.
early. Because I love the game of skunk or dope harvest.
Yes. It's the same around,
I was
same
like,
around here.
it's too early. It's this game I play.
It's so funny you would say that because my neighbor is rich and he smokes nothing but top shelf. And it's the same thing. I'm like, is that just really good dank? Or did because I always pictured like that one cat that finally was dumb enough to challenge the
Pepe Le
skunk and then
Pew.
got sprayed, you know. So I always picture some smelly cat wandering around, but it's not Odin because Odin shows up and doesn't smell.
No, she's a good girl.
And no, she's smart. She is so smart.
Well, she
I
has to
put
be
like
extra smart.
I have this like old wrought iron wooden chair. It's like a bench. I put it in the far back of my backyard. I put a bunch of blankets on there. Odin is like, I live here. This is mine. This is Odin's smart.
Aww.
She
She
knows
is.
what's up.
Well, then, if she's that comfortable, get a crate and start putting her food in there. And then one of these days, she's going to be in there. You're going to close the crate, and then you're going to take her to the vet. She's
I
going to
need to.
yowl, and it's going to be a mess. But just get her crate trained. It'll be okay. You can crate train a cat. I did it 2 weeks with my Dodgy Bobo. He went from feral street cat to crate trained in 2 weeks.
She definitely is feral cat. And she's a smaller cat because the new cat, that's a dude. And he's huge. He's huge. He's a puppy. I was just about to say a puppy. He's a kitten, you can tell. Because he's got long legs. He looks like a lynx almost.
Well, maybe he is.
He's white and gray. And like he stands up to see if I'm there because he's kind of still scared of me. He reminds me of a little
Oh,
mongoose. I put
that's
food out. I put food out for him by the fountain because he's so scary. But
yeah.
when I'm in my bedroom, I can see him sneak out.
Well, did I
Oh,
tell you about the new cats that I've named around? There, I've got these two. They look like they're 4 months old. They're new on the block, and I need to trap them. I think because nobody should leave their 4-month-old kittens running around. But there's a floofy gray
oh.
and black striped one, so I've named him Earl Grey. And there's a floofy orange and white striped one, and their name is Ginger Snap. Because if you live outside, you get food names, and if you come inside, then you get powerful names.
People who abandon their cats are on my new list of people who I want to punch. People like I have a feeling that Odin was abandoned as either a kitten, 'cause Odin's been around for a while,
Hmm.
and I feel the new cat is the same way. Like someone had a litter and was like, "Oh, hope this one lives."
Yeah, that's just those people need. Mm,
And I live in the desert, so people abandon animals. It's more out in the outskirts. Like I live in the city part, the incorporated part, but like 30, 40 miles from here, they have task force of people who drive through the desert looking for animals because people abandon them so much.
yeah, that's not right. And I'll just also have a personal issue about folks who let their cats run around outside because I just personally feel it's not safe for the cats and it's not safe for the wildlife of the like they don't need to be hunting birds and
They do. We
getting
have
themselves sick if they can come in and have a 4 squares a day like mine do. Like they go out not I mean my cats go outside but I have a fenced yard. They're out there under supervision and the one time Loki got a groundhog who he may or may not have tried to eviscerate him, but we stopped it pretty quickly. Like they don't need to be hunting for food.
I think that's weird too. I'm the same way. it's we have a gang of cats in my neighborhood, a literal gang.
Oh my gosh. Allie, how do cats grow 4 feet long in the barns? Huge cats. I wonder if they are part like Norwegian forest cat slash Maine Coons, because those cats
Yeah.
grow huge. Like those pictures on Instagram, I don't even think I could hold a full size purebred one. It would be as tall as I am. I mean, but Loki's part something huge because at the shelter they were literally this big, the both of them, when they came home to me. They were huddled in a tiny box. My human held Freya like this so I could clip out her metal sutures from getting fixed. And Loki literally grew for 3.5 years. He just didn't stop growing for years. And then Freya Fruipers was like, yeah, I'm good. We're going to stop now. So he's part something big. It's so funny. I know that they were litter mates, but they're so different. Yeah, because they've got the Maine Coons, the Norwegian forest cat. Those you guys have got like huge cats who grow huge out that way.
Around here we have like cougars and lynx, but we really don't have big cats like that.
No, it's too hot. They've got too much fur.
That's true. The more than anything else though, we have driven the animals away here in Southern California because we cannot stop building.
Yeah.
In my town, I'll never understand it. They will tear down a mountain that had a whole topography of grass and animals and had a whole world teeming with life in it to put up a house with grass and a tiny tree.
Right. They're like, oh, we're all about conservation. We're going to turn everything. You're going to have no gas vehicles, and you're going to suck it up and like it. But we're going to eviscerate this pristine natural territory.
Exactly. And California is beautiful. It's semi-tropical here, and they tear down everything for houses. It bothers me. That's one of the reasons when I moved away, when I lived in Oregon, that's one thing I appreciated is that it was so green. Like you would never get that here. They put a house wherever they can. And no one can afford to live here. That's my biggest beef. Like at some point you have to stop building. There's an amusement park by my house and there's this huge wannabe boardwalk, but it's empty because no one can afford the rent.
Oh God. Yeah.
It's the most eerie thing because it's right by an amusement park, but you drive by and it's abandoned. Oh, America.
Yeah, the home of the wasteful and the stupid.
It's something that drives me crazy because do you know, if we want to get practical about about local politics, the way we allocate funds here is insane. Like we don't invest in our children, but we'll spend millions to get tourists here.
Yeah, the misplacement of priorities is huge. That was probably me. You can ignore it.
Oh, okay. I saw it on the.
I did something and I heard the thing. I was like, oh, just don't pay attention to me, right? I mean, pay attention to me, but not there.
You know what it is? I'm going to tell you really quickly. Now that we have a really weird inside joke, it's because I watch way too much Sherlock Holmes. I still watch the old one, and it's all about deduction. It's all about deduction.
It's true, but they knew how to talk about sewing, though. So there's some they're weird. But we're going to leave it at that right now. Let's see here, Kilroy. That's one thing I shake my head about LA. Such beautiful landscape, and you decide to put up a highway and crappy Midwestern houses. I think all of the houses and all the developments must be owned by 3 giant architectural firms because it's like wherever you go, the houses all look the same and they're ugly.
All the same. All the same. It's eerie. Where my cousin lives in Buckeye, Arizona, looks like a track up the street from my house. It's identical. Yeah. Same house, same everything.
Yep. They probably even have the same floor. Right. If the outside's the same, the inside's probably the same. You're like,
oh yeah.
Do you want the fancy pool? 1 story, 2 stories? Would you like the thing? And it's just, oh crap.
That's one thing about LA. Like they do. I was actually talking about that with my mom and my son today because when you drive back through my neighborhood, it's beautiful because there's trees and palm trees and oak trees and all of these different types of trees, and no one ever looks up. I told them I turned the corner and they're like, "Oh crap, I never noticed that." Because my son and I we go walking all the time. So I'm like, "Hey, look how beautiful it is around here. Appreciate it." Yeah,
Oh, that's
it's
speaking of
bad.
pretty things, though. My roses have rosebuds now. Some of
Yay.
them. I am working on my own private secret rose garden, and if you read the book and have that image of like a walled in place filled with roses, that's what I'm cultivating. Do not Google Maps me.
I need to go get my bag of pipes because I need a stem. And you're gonna see
Okay.
I have a literal bag of old man pipe.
All right. I need to find a piece to fit in. So I've been doing pretty good. Piece. This is the. Can we? I hate this camera. I can't wait till my new computer comes so I can get my good camera hooked up again because this computer camera makes me feel not pretty. But this is the. Oh, did I? Don't tell me. Don't tell me I was stupid. Please don't. Oh.
What did you what Oh, I do have another stem for this.
Um.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you are cut a piece that's supposed to be front to front, and now I did all this work, and I have two left fronts of my house coat.
I've done that. I've done that. That's why
Okay,
this coat right here is the one I did
it's in
that
the
on.
pile of shame.
I
Okay,
I I just went over the other side so it's thick on one side. It's
yeah,
like way more thick.
okay, all right. I think I might be able to salvage this because I need to piece. So this is just going to be the extension for the front half, and then I'll just cut a new. Oh,
Yay!
fudge
Look,
me in the
I salvaged like a $200 or $300 pipe that actually gets used.
feet. The houses are massive too. Like you don't need 8,000 square feet and dozens of rooms. No, and the heating and cooling bills on that is just too much. My favorite rose I have is an orange one. Ooh, oh, yes.
So, my grandmother had a 7-bedroom house, and I wanted to live there so bad. When she passed away, I wanted to live there so bad. My mom was like, "Okay, pay the bills for 1 month."
Yeah,
Once I
no,
saw the heating and everything, I was like, "I can't live here with just me and my son. Like, I can't live here. I I need 8 other people to live here with me."
right?
I wanted to live in her giant house so bad, but like with the heating and everything, like it would have put me in the poorhouse.
All right, I'm gonna put these pieces away because they're gonna make me mad. I was doing so well until I realized those needed to be face to face. That's
Um,
all right. We can
I
fix
wish we
this.
had I wish we had smell-o-vision. This smells like Captain Black.
I don't
I-
even know what that smells like, so I'm a little sad.
Pipe tobacco. You know, it's really funny. Cigarette smoke. As someone who smokes cigarettes compulsively, cigarette smoke smells bad. Pipe tobacco. People are like that. Reminds me of my grandfather.
Yeah, I hear that same thing about cigars.
Yes, yes. I knew heavy cigar smokers. I got pneumonia off a Cuban when I was 13 because I inhaled.
Yeah, I've heard you're not supposed to do that.
I thought I was Big Chief. I was hanging out with some real heavy hitters. I thought I was a tough guy and I made myself sick.
Silly, silly. Oh,
As a
oh, sugar snaps. I will BRB because I'm dumb. Hold on a second.
No worries. I am so old. I still have pipe cleaners and I don't use them for crafts. I use them to actually clean pipes. I had a deal recently, floor and basement. It was a hotel building. Oh, wow. That's crazy. Part of me, I still want to buy a warehouse. I still want to buy a giant warehouse where I can live like MacGyver. But let's be fair, in MacGyver, he lived in Venice Beach in his last season, and no one can afford to live there. You have to be a literal millionaire to live in Venice. Oh, man. Now I have the MacGyver theme song stuck in my head. That is extremely cheap, Alibaba. Do you know, just in my neighborhood, the houses go for 800,000, 900,000, and those are the lower end houses. I still want to move to the middle of nowhere, but once I saw I was gonna move to Colorado, and then I saw the politics of Colorado, and I was like, I can't live there. They care too much. And then I saw this really messed up story about this farmer who was getting treated awful by the people in Colorado, and I was like, oh, I really can't live there. The asbestos on the third floor had lead paint. The massive icebox fridge had the asbestos. That's the problem when you within big investments like that. We used to buy the rights to like lockers and houses, and I scored, but on most of the houses I was just picking up garbage.
You could have made that a museum and sewing retreat, and I might have flown across the country to go to Canada just to hang out there and smuggle back real maple syrup.
Do they check you on the border? Like if I was on the border coming back from Canada, because the only other time I only crossed over in a motorcycle. I never crossed over in a car. And then any other time I went to Canada, I went through Victoria Island, like literally from Seattle on a boat and then on another boat, you know. So I never, do they check you on the border like that?
I haven't crossed the border since you needed a passport or a smart ID, so I cannot speak to that anymore.
I remember when they started that. There was this weird leeway where I got into Canada with just my ID, but that was like this was 20-something years ago.
I know, because we used to go relatively frequently to Niagara Falls because it was a 2.5-hour car ride, 2-hour car ride. The best was when we would cross the border and go, because the Canadian side of the falls is so much prettier than the American side, I do have to say.
I've heard a lot of people say that. You're not the first person I've heard say that.
No, it's because it's true. If you've been to both or live on the close enough to have gone, when we went on the Maid of the Mist one time with the boats and had those stupid yellow plastic ponchos. We only did that once, though. They sure do check people. Now they do. I know, everything. I would just want to smuggle back maple syrup. That's all I want. Just give me my damn maple syrup.
I had a good friend who tried to live there. And Canada has hardcore laws against Americans, and they're smart. They're very hardcore.
Between Jagmeet Singh and Trudeau, like, I just can't. The good things I remember about Canada are slowly, not even slowly anymore, just quickly being like.
But that's like me in San Francisco. San Francisco was the most peaceful place on planet Earth. It was the most hippie, loving city on Earth. Look at San Francisco now. It's Gotham City. And I say that as a biased Californian. When people talk trash about California, I'm like, get out of here. There's someone I really respect who lives in San Francisco, and he's like, nah, man, it's a war zone.
Well, all the videos I see about the people stealing in LA County and the shenanigans, and they're like, oh, the cops don't have guns. We've taken away everything. We're just going to, who needs reparations when we can just take a 5-finger discount?
The cops, the problem is the cops let that happen in a lot of ways, though, because they got defunded. And then they said, okay, Watch. And the cops even announced we don't have enough people to fight crime. And I'm not kidding you. That's when all the smash and grab started happening. That's why our sheriff got voted out, because he's like, oh, well, if you give me more money, we won't do anything. And then people were like, but you're the effing cops, you dummy. He basically, he was like, he's on Fox News. Let's just put it that way. Like Antonio Villaraigosa now works for Fox News. And he basically said, like, if you're going to defund me, I'm not going to work. And the cops stopped working throughout COVID, all of it. So it's created a power vacuum here.
Yeah, well, maybe he was funded by Soros, like that weird DA from Missouri, St. Louis, Kim Gardner. Oh my God, that whole debacle, the Kim Gardner debacle. Oy, oy, oy.
Oh, excuse me. The problem is, I don't care what side you're on. Everything gets so politicized that people are only fighting for whatever corporation is paying them. You know?
Exactly. That's why we need to make populism popular again. Because I think most reasonable minds meet somewhere in the middle and are pissed off about the amount of corporate government money laundering that's going on, and the oppression, that the extremes have the biggest mouths, and most people are like, don't have the patience and want to argue. But if we sat down and we're like, most of the time we kind of hang out in the middle.
You know, I recently had a conversation about like how in certain communities, and especially in the LGBTQIA plus community, 99.9% of the people are sitting at home living their lives like everybody else, minding their own effing business. It is the small minority that get on, insert your social media and speak for everyone else.
Dylan Mulvaney screwing Bud Light 2 Ways to Tuesday because the people who used to actually enjoy drinking Bud Light are like, no, this human does not represent us. And then Bud Light being like, we're going to disavow ourselves. So now the gay bars are like, no, we're not going to support Bud Light either. So Bud Light kicked themselves in the knees twice.
You know what? I do not necessarily agree with all the politics of T.S. Madison. But T.S. Madison has recently grown on me because she said something where she was like, look at what these corporations are doing. They're only promoting certain people, because T.S. Madison, whether I like her or not, she lives her life like everybody else. And so she pointed out the fact that Dylan Mulvaney, you can count on your hand how long she has been saying she's a she, and she has all these sponsors. And T.S. Madison was like, look at all these people that have been around since the Stone Age, who y'all are, you don't come around till Pride season, that's the problem. That's the problem.
The thing I just saw this TikTok about this individual who is, I heard it described as trying to transplain having a menstrual cycle. And if you don't have a uterus,
that broke the internet.
I'm sorry, you can't have a menstrual cycle. Like, and if you don't work with the prostate, you're never going to get prostate cancer. Everybody, breast cancer, that doesn't discriminate. But prostate, testicular, and uterine and ovarian cancers, if you don't have the parts, you ain't going to get it.
That's a small minority speaking for a group of people who just live their lives in peace. And see, here's the problem of like modern day activism, is that everyone else is literally at their home chilling, and we're like, nah, like I don't live like that. Even in the Black community, there are people who say certain things, and I'm like, bro, you are only speaking for a certain sect. Like, watch yourself. You're not speaking for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's a problem.
It is a problem, and it's part of the downfall of culture in this country right now.
That's why I only speak for myself. I come with disclaimers, and I say, hey, this is my opinion. This is how I feel. Because what happens is, even like, okay, I'm gonna call someone out. Ollie London has become a rage farmer.
They've got oh my god, they've done a huge 180 for their
Oh,
penis
you
decrease sizing surgery to look more like that
don't even
K-pop star, and now they're the most anti-trans individual. I was like,
ever.
you were trying to say you were trans Korean, and your pronouns were something dumb that I'd never even heard about.
2 years ago or a year ago, this mofo had me losing it in this room. I'm like, you are not Korean. Like, there's a very famous footage in England. They have this show. I don't even. It's a web series where they put two polar opposite people in a room, and this young,
The super fat people and or super sized and super skinny. That was
yes,
a good one.
this young, I don't know where she was from, the UK, and she was a young woman, and she told him, she's like, you know, I'm black. She's like, all that stuff that you're doing offends me. Like, you're an idiot. She told him to his face. She's like, I don't think you understand, and you don't understand. You know, like.
No, you're a
So
privileged white kid.
yes, you know what? There's a lot of issues that I don't speak on because I came from a certain area of privilege, and there's certain things that I don't understand. So I shut my big fat mouth. Ollie London has become a rage farmer. He has gone from a member of a community to literally with the pitchforks and the knives, like, let's go hunt people. Like, nah, bro, you literally were one of us a year ago, and now you're fighting. Like, he makes me so mad, or they.
I don't even know. I know,
Mad.
but
So
were they? But they. I think they. Did they want to be transsexual or just transracial? Like, I don't even understand.
transracial makes my head explode.
Right? But
Fight
now I'm like,
me.
can I move to California and pretend to be transracial so I can get my reparations money too? I mean,
I don't.
I'm not
so,
serious, but I'm
again,
joking. But I'm kind of not joking.
Ollie London has gone. He's a rage farmer. I'm like, there are certain people that I block on, and I have blocked Ollie London. Like Ollie London is gonna be blocked soon. He's on that list of like, what is wrong with you?
Oh no! Oh man, I don't understand that human. But I don't. I think if you're under, I guess I'm getting old. That if you're under a certain age, like I just don't understand where you come from either.
That's very true. I I agree. I didn't feel like that up until there certain issues arise, and I'm like, or do you know what trips me out when someone's like, "Oh, I've never seen that movie before," and I'm like, everyone's seen that movie, but then I have to remember I'm old.
Right? Or this isn't how you pantomime a phone. This is not how you pantomime a telephone.
Again, I do that just unwittingly, like when or talking, I do this, like, "Hey, call me."
Right?
Like I do. I could be across the room from someone my age and be like, "Hey," and they'll call me after I do that move, you know?
Right? Yeah, there's some things I will not, I just can't get behind. And that's one of them. It's a pet peeve I have.
I need to get off of Twitter, but I like, it's the most followers I have on any platform.
I know, and we're
Twitter,
terrible about promoting our shows there. I keep wondering, do you want me to post your show there and hype you up or not?
oh,
I guess I
go
shouldn't ask
ahead.
you right now. Okay.
I've said this a million times. I probably would have way more subscribers if I shamelessly promoted myself. I am terrible at it. I need to start.
Right, well, I'll help.
Retweeting my I've been a real purist on my Twitter. Like, I don't care. I used to retweet when I was on a show that I shall not name. So I need to start doing it again. It's just I need to keep up on my Instagram. I gained a ton of followers because of So Frugal, and I need to like ride that wave.
No, I know Instagram. Like, I either have a whole bunch of bot followers or what. Like, it took me a year to like stably get over 200 because it would just like fluctuate. It would go up and then down and up and down. And now I'm doing the same thing, but I've only up to like 218, 220. Like, I don't understand what's going on with Instagram.
I'm surprised I crossed over 100 because I've always been at 99. Like that was why. Like I always felt not like a failure. I'm very niche, and I understand, especially when it comes to when my Instagram was only San Cisco and hand sewing. Like I understand, I'm very niche, but like I had that same format that I put on whatchamacallit, that exact same format I put on Twitter, and I have 10 times more followers. I'm at 3,000 something on Twitter.
Oh, that's good. I meant like get a VPN, do the Canadian address, and make Canadian content. You will get pushed. Oh, that's good. Yes, seriously, you've got the more. You can talk about hockey, and they'll be like, "This guy must be Canadian. He talks about more hockey than we do."
I could go off. I've been to Vancouver. Like I talk about all the time. How many people that look like me can actually properly say Saskatoon? I've been there during the winter where the Walmart was the only place to hang out. It was the most snow I've ever seen in my life. Shout out to that guy that looks like Michael Chiklis who's obsessed with me. Shout out to Saskatoon, Canada.
Oh, that's funny. You might be big in Moose Jaw or Edmonton. Who knows, right? Because if you speak French, you might be able to make it in Quebec, but I
can learn a language.
French there.
I could learn. Throw me. I'm a firm believer that if you threw me in any culture, come back a year, I'll speak the language.
It's true. French is a lot like Spanish, but you just sound like you're choking on frogs instead of rolling your R's all the time. Don't choke on my account.
No, that's funny. Oh, that's hilarious. I am so stoked I got this pipe going. Like I carry these with me, especially these fat ones. I take them in public with me. I'm so stoked.
You're like, I like a big fatty. Please don't clip this, anybody. Actually, that might be funny.
My Hobbit pipe is all clogged. I need to fix it. But like, I feel weird carrying it in my car because I will break it. I will break it. Well, Quebec will push you. All the French speaking. You know, I lived in Mexico, and anywhere that's not a tourist area, you'll starve if you don't speak Spanish. So I learned real quick. I caught on everything. Like I was pointing at stuff. Like, what's that? Okay, I know what it is now.
I only know the important. I learned Spanish in school, so granted, I only know school Spanish, which is not Mexican Spanish at all. I've learned.
No.
But I know the important things. ¿Dónde está alguna más cerveza? And no, yo necesito un cerveza. And ¿dónde está el baño, por favor? Like, I'm okay.
That actually was extremely polite because most people just say ¿Dónde está el baño?, which is weirdly impolite because if you said in English, you're like, where's the bathroom? But if you say, excuse me, where's the bathroom, is much more.
Right, please, where's the toilet? Right, I could be nice and get my needs met. I need a beer and I need to pee. Hurry up on both of those, please.
To be fair, Mexico is so strange because like in the tourist areas, they'll work with you. But when you're outside the tourist areas, they'll tell you like, nope, you're going to starve if you don't speak Spanish.
Right. I can ask for like ceviche, please. Ceviche, por favor.
Before people get crazy though, France is like that too. Like they'll ignore you. France, like they'll like, get out of here.
Well, I can't speak to now. I was in France in 1999, and they didn't hate us as much. Though it was a time where they didn't love us, but.
I was in Canada and someone walked up to me and they said, "You're cool, but I hate your president." It was in the George Bush era. So you never know.
Fair. That's an honest, reasonable critique. Like that, thank you for being polite and honest.
That is one thing too. Canadians are rowdy, just like Americans. They fight, they drink, they like smoke.
They shoot less guns because they can't, because their gun laws are stupid as all get out.
They have it's just different. Like I said this before, Isaiah's BB gun would be considered illegal in Canada because of the feet per second.
Yeah, and the way they're trying to like massage the language to be like, oh, it's okay, but what did they have more shootings than they have in a while, and they've got more restrictions? But I think Canada's biggest problem is their self-offing policy. Like C11 and their self-offing their government-funded euthanasia is got to be the two scariest things coming down out of Canada right now.
So
Unless
it
you have
is
anything
real
else, Ollie, because I don't live there. You probably know the worse things than I know.
But is it really government-sponsored euthanasia?
Yes.
You know, to an American, that sounds like,
Horrible.
what are you doing? Yeah. What are you doing? Well,
Working on my proselytizing, Dad.
It's 6:50.
It is. All right, we'll just hang out for a little while longer. You can have your father back. I won't hijack him all night long from your kid.
He actually wants to talk to you about the Book of Mormon, actually.
Okay, well, I'll
He
make
loves
sure
to-
that I don't run out of my streaming time so that he can attempt to proselytize to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Good luck, kid.
Yeah. I try to like, the thing about proselytizing is that, like, okay, in Los Angeles, people hate the what are they called, the Nation of Islam, because they stand in the street. They're not as preachy as the Hebrew Israelites. The Hebrew Israelites in Los Angeles stand on corners and yell at people and call them whitey and say, oh, Jesus wasn't white, you're going to hell, you're all devils. Like, no one's gonna join your religion. No one's gonna join you.
Yes,
It's
government
called-
right now, it's called MAID service. Can't make it up. Oh, they even made it like a pretty acronym of like, hey, we're your maid, we're just gonna help you. Oh my gosh. Well, if you need some good Canadian content, I recommend Greg Doucette, More Plates, More Dates, if you like bodybuilding and health things. Though More Plates, More Dates, I might have some, well, whatever, we won't talk about that right now. And then Ian Runkle, he's in Edmonton, Canadian Firearms and Criminal Defense, but Viva ran away to Florida, but Viva Fry's also good. Has some good interviews, but I kind of had some issues. Well, no, he had a really good talk with Unlearn 16, and I more on the camp of some of the things that she said, because some stuff that Viva was saying was like, yeah, you're just stop. to each their own.
My streak is broken.
What did we
Every
break?
time I live stream, I lose a subscriber because I think I offend people because they see my videos and they're like, oh, Godless Sewing is one person. Then I get on stream and I'm smoking and like, and I gained a subscriber, so my streak is broken.
Oh, brilliant. They're not even watching you stream right now. Somebody liked both of us enough.
Exactly.
I know. Oh,
It's
shit.
weird.
Eventually I need to just copy and paste your stuff into my description that I use every time and then update.
I need to get better at YouTubing as well. I need to step up my YouTube game. And there's certain people, I watch their videos, I'm like, oh, I need to step my game up.
Oh, I just gained a subscriber too. Wow, somebody must really like us. Somebody likes both of us. I went from 44 to 45 subscribers on the YouTubes.
Exactly. See, that's what I'm saying. The streak is broken, damn it. Let's keep growing.
Please like, dislike, comment. Just don't be outrightly a douchebag, and I'll let you stick around.
Yeah. And YouTube is so weird. YouTube lately, with everything that's been going on, like with all the crackdowns, I thought that they were just attacking my channel, but there are major YouTubers I watch that have been demonetized for saying certain words.
It's getting YouTube is getting out of hand, which is why Rumble is great. That's true, Alibaba. You do need to subscribe to hit the like button 3 times or in odd numbers, please. I sub and unsub here and there. I just went through a culling. I got rid of a whole bunch of beauty YouTubers because I love watching people get ready with me, but I'm over people trying to sell new makeup. Like, I've got what I have. If I need something, I'll get it. But you can, an eyeshadow palette lasts freaking forever. And I just want to use my collection up until I hit all the pans and throw it out and then buy new stuff. Though I could buy everything that Trixie Mattel puts out every time, but I've yet to buy anything. I want one of all of those things, but I just haven't.
Trixie Mattel is a robot. He moved here and now is like he has to be a robot. And Katya, that robots, they have taken over LA. They have like taken over LA and become like, I remember when they were nobodies. There was one time I was driving down good old Hollywood Boulevard and I saw them filming. This was pre-COVID. This was right before
right?
the restrictions.
Should I drive down so we can go to Trixie's hotel?
That would actually.
Should we go to the Trixie Hotel?
I'm down. They have turned Palm Springs into a fun place.
So it's not just gay men anymore?
No, but
or is it still only gay men and that's why it's still a fun place?
See, all of the above. They have a bunch of cool stuff, but it is like where old money gays live. That's like where the old money like John Barrowman, who used to be on Doctor Who, like he owns a mansion in Palm Springs, and that's his like residency. You have to have money to live in Palm Springs. If you really think about it, you're out in the middle of the mountains at the foot of a desert. You are literally out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, sounds like where I live, sort of.
But there's no trees.
I have the same amount of scorpions and rattlesnakes, but I might get more rain.
That's the one thing that trips me out. There are certain places like because you could drive past Palm Springs and not even notice. But once you make a left and start heading into Palm Springs, you're like, dude, there are millions of dollars pumped into this place.
Yeah. Right, it is monitored by AI, right? Because C11 is watching all of us. Please, my ploy for us Americans, I need to do it again. Please complain to your representatives. The Restrict Act is a hot piece of garbage, and we cannot stand by and let this go through. This, just please, my one thing for political advocacy, please just do it.
We're doomed in a lot of ways. Short of alien invasion, we are.
That would be a retreat. That would be like a piece of cake to me right now. Like, please, aliens, take me away. Like the Culligan man, you can probe me. Just give me a hot bath afterwards and before.
I don't know what it's going to take, but I'm starting to think that as a species, we are just geared to hate each other no matter what. Like, we are geared to be jealous and envious and like.
Is it the species or is it the media and corporate broadcasting that's forcing this? That's making this delusional, false reality to encourage this culture of divisiveness and distrust and dislike.
Okay, I agree with you on that because when I hear people's ideal of when they'll say godless sewing is this and this, I'm literally sitting at my house sewing, learning the words to the Chumpawampa song.
Chumpawampa, you didn't even say it right. Give me a whiskey drink and a lager drink.
I love that stupid song. I listen to it all the time. That is literally what I'm doing at my house. That is literally what I'm doing. I get knocked down.
I can't rap, but I can.
Damn.
But I get up again, and everybody like to do. I get.
I'm not that complicated. I am not that complicated.
No, just hand me
I'm
a sewing machine and some fabric or some knitting needles, a crochet hook, some fiber. I'm good to go. I could even hand me a tanning shuttle or two. I can do that too. Drop spindle, wool,
damn
harder.
right.
Just give me a old-fashioned handicraft,
I'm
some embroidery floss and a needle. I'm simple. I complain a lot, but I'm generally simple.
I'm so glad though that I did not buy that the
That
wooden
spinning
spindle
wheel,
wheel.
yeah, I think that would have. I don't think that would have been your best investment for a lot of
And
reasons.
ever since I spent $80 on the microphone and it was kind of a bust, I checked myself because like when you have my dad had he was an extravagant guy. He spent a lot of money because there was no one there to stop him. And so I was slowly turning into that. I have to check myself every once in a while.
No, if you want the good stuff, look in my descriptions. I have a $60 Rhode Micro Mini that was originally for my camera, but if you get I needed an external sound card to make it work as my mic. $60 microphone, $90 Shure headphones because all the YouTubers sold me on the Shure brand for their headphones for these cute inside ones. But I did need to put a marker. I have this red thing so I know which is the right and left ear because they look the same and I kept getting mad before I had to do my day job, which is why I bought these, of putting my head earbud in the wrong hole. Now a spinning wheel I hear as well. Maybe next week I'll bring out my drop spindle and we'll do some. No, it's make, do, and mend. Should I spin next week or should I? Damn it.
I need to check myself before I turn into my pops. He like every vendor in town loved him because he spent
He
money.
just dropped dough.
Yeah, like and I don't need to be liked like that.
No, and right now you only have one kid with special needs. Do you want him to have to deal with all of that when you die?
No, I was thinking about finally giving the big payback to my ex-wife and leaving all my stuff to her with a big ha 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 note.
Oh God. Oh God.
This is all yours now. You wanted it so bad, all yours. All of it. 'Cause I don't like my family. I'll give it all to her. Here, take it. And I'm joking. I know things
No,
that you say
you
online
can
are legally
leave the sewing
pending.
machines as long as I don't die first. There's nothing wrong with my screen. That's just a cat button. My
I
yes,
think about
I
it all
always
the
said I love
time.
you freakers.
Like, because I am already kind of sick with my lungs. If I ever get terminally ill, I'm gonna like start like giving my sewing machines to museums and stuff, or like people who will appreciate them, you know.
Right, because they do need to go to, if you've cared for them, you fixed them up, they need to go to homes where you know they're going to be appreciated and cared for and not just back to the thrift store.
And back to my 70-year-old friends recently, Linda's Linda's husband, Doug, literally have known the man my whole life. His sister is going blind.
Oh,
And so he's like, "Do you want a serger?" And I was like, "That's the like worst offer of a serger ever." I was like, "I'll take it," but like,
this feels depressing and sad.
yeah, because she's going blind, and I was thinking like that would be awful. She's a sewist, and imagine if you can't see, go like that's just the worst, absolute worst.
I know that's a friend of mine is no, have I met this human? Blah, 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 quilters not being able to see. That's the cat's eyes are so big. That's just the illusion of the camera. She's only
Yeah,
the 9-pound little girl. She was just like, and I'm right here in front of the camera. Her
she
eyes are
looked like
littler than
Godzilla.
mine. Fair.
She had the Catzilla.
Yes, she's mad because she only had one feeding, and I feed them 4 squares a day, and she's only had one this evening because I've been streaming. So she's mad at me. Because her brother's the hungry one and he's the scared one, so he's big, but he sends her out for tribute. He's like, did you come back safely? All right, I will come out and eat. He's done that since they were little baby kittens. He would like hide under the bed. She would be the first one out to eat, and he's like, okay, you ate and didn't die. I guess I can go eat food now.
That's genius. That's absolute genius.
Yeah, he's such an asshole. Well,
Said that-
is going to a good home. Look at it that way. She will feel better. Mostly like that. Oh, no, the surge or the sugar. I can't read. Yes,
that is
Linda
true.
wants to make sure her surger goes to a good home.
And you know why? And I'll tell you, like, whenever I get any singer that's like especially when I buy the black ones, or like when I bought my 301A, it came complete. I mean, I have the manual, everything, and in my mind, I was like, someone passed away because someone cared for this thing. Like that 301A was properly oiled up until the day I bought it. Came with all the bobbins, all the extra pieces, everything. Original case. No sewing machine I have has the original case except for my 301. Well, some of my old box ones, but
No, I think somebody must know what they have though, because I just saw on Craigslist today a Singer featherweight with like a gajillion attachments, but they wanted $600 for it, and I was like, fudge that. Oh, Allie, now you've got me singing "Hungry Eyes," and Godless is choking because we made him laugh too hard. Hopefully, it's for the funnies.
But is he ever going to get that much?
I have no idea, because the Morris, the cute pink and blue ones, are still up there after 2 weeks at $200 and $300. I was like, either something's wrong or they think they've got a gem and they don't. Which is, I don't know. I'm just going to keep with my $25 Brunhild, who really is a steal and a treasure.
I was just about to say, Alibaba, it goes for that much, but it's, can you find a buyer? In the LA area, I know a couple fanatics, and I swear someone who buys off me is opening up a museum. Because they only buy quality showroom pieces, but they'll pay over $1,000 for it.
Yeah, where I live, I mean, I don't. Oh, what is jacked up right now? Oh, because I'm not threaded anymore. Nice. Yeah. I don't think there's I don't know what illegal dope grower wants a $600 sewing machine where I live. Like,
I know what you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying. You live in green country where people are farming.
Yes, and stealing our water, but yeah, they want original, so loud colors don't sell right away now. Yeah, that is a Steve.
I noticed that with any refurbished Singer, if it's not original, people really don't want it. Except for the weird white ones, like people really don't want it.
Yeah, I don't even know what color. I just liked it that they were like that peacock light blue and a cute red. But I don't know enough about that brand to know, like, are sewing machines either like plastic and white or old fashioned and black? Like, is that the colors of sewing machines? I don't know. Asking honestly, not to be an asshole.
I still don't know where that one sewing machine is. I know Alibaba will know. It's the Singer. It's the early 1900 one, and it has the Pyramid of Giza on it and the Sphinx.
Oh, yes.
And it's either in my storage unit or someone stole it out of their old ranch house.
So it's probably in the storage unit, because who steals sewing machines, to be honest?
And if you think I'm kidding, hold on, let's see, without doxing myself. This is a sign for the ranch house.
Oh, you even had a sound stage, so you filmed shit up there. The original white 221s are very rare.
That's a holy grail.
Sweatshop. Him or me, I think I must have the 15th century with my drop spindles and wool and a hand crank sewing machine. We're like 1500s meets 1880.
I said that one time, and I swear this woman wants to call the cops on me every time she sees me now. She asks me a dumb question. She's like, why do you have so many sewing machines? And I looked in the eye and said, oh, I own a sweatshop. She did not laugh.
No, you see, you need to use the Jewish word. It's called a schmata shop, and nobody will know what you're talking about most of
Oh,
the time, unless she's Jewish and knows some Yiddish, and then she will know that it is literally the same thing.
my
So welcome to the
mom,
schmata shop.
my mom speaks Yiddish. So I couldn't say that around my mom. My mom. That's why I got Chotskys and Schmaltz,
Tchotchkes, oh,
Schmaltzies and all that.
schmaltz.
All that from my mom.
The Victorian Sweatshop is a museum out there in LA. You learn me something new every week. You learn me lots of new things.
And American Apparel, they prided themselves as a safe sweatshop, and I never
There's no such
liked
thing as
that.
a sweet. That's an oxymoron if I've ever heard of it.
But I've seen the factories in Los Angeles where you walk in on the top floor and there's 300 sewing machines in one room. That it makes my skin crawl thinking about it. And it's an eerie sound when you hear no one talking and 300 machines going in unison at the same time.
I was gonna say I would need. Do they hand out earplugs as a workplace hazard because you would lose your hearing with all of that machinery sounds?
It depends on what country you live in. From what I've noticed in America, of course, but in Mexico, no. But I've seen that with my own two eyes. Now, everything else I've seen online. In Korea, yes. India, depends on where you work.
That'll work in the upscale schmata shop and not the ramshackle one.
I'm obsessed with watching YouTube channels where I don't speak the language. And so I watch a lot of people in factories. I don't know if they're pro or against anymore.
Right. Let's see here. If this is a museum by appointment, they give tours. You can try most of the machines,
Oh,
even
wow.
rare ones. All right, I'm fixing up my car, getting an oil change, getting my alignment done, and I am driving for 12 hours so we can have a date. And then
Down.
go.
Down. I want to go too. And I'll take you to oh, this is gonna sound terrible. I'll take you to the torture museum.
Yes.
On
And then we can hop over to Vegas and I can meet my online friends Boobzilla and Pony Poison, who's a pole dancer, and Boobzilla is an amazing sideshow artist with less ginormous chesticles, but does amazing feats of. It's more of a sideshow act that they do with
Are you talking about the real Boobzilla?
and
Does she have blonde
Boobzilla?
hair?
No, dark hair.
Oh,
They
okay.
have.
I think they're
Look at
nice.
my Instagram of who I follow. Or if the
There was someone I knew that would go by that title, but she was more of a Bunny Ranch porn star kind of famous person.
No, the Boobzilla I know. No, dark hair, but you may or may not have seen them because they did perform for a while at the sideshow at the beach down there for a long time, and was on the TV show that was on like TBS or whatever. Like, was it Sideshow or not Carnival? Because that was a Carnival. If you've never seen the series Carnival, it's old. It is amazing.
No, I have not seen Carnival. Keep them coming. I need something new in my life. I am in a real show hole.
Okay, yeah, Carnival, it came 10 years ago. It's not new, but it was amazing. Traveling sideshow carnival performers, which I used to joke when life was bad during my undergrad that I was just going to run away to the circus, and it has kind of manifested because I have made my own circus for myself. Hence the my mic's in the way. All of my
As
toys
a child, Dumbo scared the hell out of me. After watching Dumbo, I never wanted to join the circus again.
Oh, see, I think I was just threatened too many times that if I was bad, I was going to get sold to the gypsies. old Eastern European bad kid thing. But
Oh,
yeah,
same. My
I
mom would
just
say
love
evil
the
stuff.
emotion of it. Okay, we are at how did it get to 3 hours and 45 minutes?
The
But
same thing happened to me. Same thing. I went
right,
I went almost 5 hours last time,
yeah,
and
we
I was
did
like, how
last
did
week,
that?
and I was like, how am I still awake? I'm
Yeah.
gonna let my East Coast folks here do our last shillings because I'm gonna be proselytized for the next 15 minutes. He's on the clock.
Oh, he's right here too. Because I gotta pee.
He's
Um,
waiting.
Godless Sewing tomorrow night. We'll be live. Same bad time, same bad channel, same mayhem. I have a bunch of stories, and I'll be coming with pictures. Except for
Sweet.
the bikers, they were just nice. It made me feel old.
Awesome. I will
Godless
be
Sewing, Godless Sewing.
around next time, the same time. I will probably hop over tomorrow, but I'm going to be late at least by half an hour because I'm going to be taking a handstand class with
Ooh.
a professional circus artist. So, don't laugh at others unless you've laughed at yourself, and don't wait until tomorrow unless you've been fabulous today. Don't wait